Ladies and gentlemen, today we lost a legend in professional wrestling, the King, Harley Race, WWE Hall of Famer. May he forever rest in peace.
Royal Ramble Radio.
Hello, world. This is Royal Ramble Radio, and I am Tristan Law. I am the lead host tonight.
Hey.
Yes, I've been promoted because our man, my pal, Brian P., wait for it, Schmidt is out on dadcation at Gen Con.
Dadcation?
Yes, he's out on dadcation. So, Brian, I hope you're having a great time. And, you know, if you want to call in, Brian, and everybody else listening, the number is 609-910-0687. And if you're watching on Facebook Live right now, I want you to hit the like. I want to know that. I want you to know that I'm there. I want you to go ahead and say, hey, I'm here. If you're on YouTube right now, I want you to like and subscribe. And if you're on Twitch, subscribe as well and let us know that you're here. But alongside me today, I have the voice of Capital Wrestling, which you can listen to him live every week on Fight TV.
Every week, every Monday night, 6 p.m.
My man, my friend, Mr. Steve James. What's going on, man?
I'm not quite Mr. Monday Night, but I'm Mr. Monday Light.
Okay, well, you know what? As long as you show up on Mondays.
There we go.
Okay. And alongside me as well, too, I have my friend. He's not really an arch nemesis, but, you know, he is Mr. YouTube himself. You know, he's the inspiration. He's the inspiration behind some people's sensation, just not mine.
A burning sensation.
He is
never been proven.
He is Dave Lee from Dave Knows Wrestling. What's up, Dave?
Hey, thank you for having me on. And yes, I would agree. We're not quite nemesis because that would imply we're equal.
Ooh, wow. That was good. That was a good one.
Right, because I'm better than you.
Oh, and you know it.
Shout
out
worse.
MJF.
So how's everybody's weekend this week? Anybody do anything crazy?
Pretty good. No, just preparing for the Nashville trip for Capital Wrestling. August 11th. We'll
Okay.
be in Nashville, musicmarathonworks.com for tickets. But, yeah, you like that. I'm learning from Tristan.
Of course.
Always get yourself
Always put yourself over.
At Real Big Tris.
Always good shit.
Yeah, but just preparing for that. You know, obviously we opened the show tonight with sad news about Harley Race, one of the biggest legend stars in the business, as Lex Luger would say.
Right.
But other than that, it's been a pretty good week. We're just a day after the I think 4-year anniversary of the passing of Roddy Piper.
Mm-hmm.
So tonight we celebrate them as well, and we'll get into a bunch of other stuff. But this weekend so far has been pretty good.
Cool. What about you, Dave?
Yeah, well, you know, for me, a lot of partying as always.
You party?
I split a bowl of sugar with some strangers. And then I decided to go ahead and snort some Jack Daniels.
You're doing it wrong. It's the wrong way.
Oh.
See, that's how we know you made it up. You didn't really do any of that stuff.
No, it's real.
Okay, so what did you really do, Dave?
I'm trying to remember. I have like no idea.
Well, you just saw a movie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I saw the Tarantino movie.
Oh, okay.
Tarantino movie.
I saw The Lion King on Tuesday.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay, so one of us is a man. Got it. And
That's
it ain't
right.
You, and it ain't you.
No, it is me.
No, it ain't.
Hey, man,
So
wait.
Lion King.
What's wrong with The Lion King?
Who doesn't love The Lion King?
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure there are a couple of hyenas who aren't that fond of it.
That's a fair point.
That's true. That's true.
a fair
That's
point.
true. And maybe a lion as his uncle.
And didn't everybody say this new one sucked?
Oh,
I
man.
think I've heard different things. Mostly people saying it was weird. It was different to get
different.
used to.
It was different.
That's all it was. Most people, once they saw it again, or had some time to reflect on the Lion King. Yes, I just said that as a 35-year-old man reflecting on the Lion
okay.
King.
And I really want to question what was the point of this remake? Because
To make money.
well, no,
What's the point of anything?
Okay,
It's
well, I
to make
understand
money.
that.
What's the point of the wrestling business? To make money.
We can't call it live action because it's still animated. Like it's CGI animated. Like is it really?
Did you complain when you saw the Hulk? It's the same thing.
Yeah, but no one said that is a live action remake of the cartoon.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair
All
enough.
right. So anyway, this weekend I did some wrestling events. We did a wrestling event at the Jersey Shore. Drove out to
nice.
the Jersey Shore. It was at a summer camp. Man, those kids are rude. Let me tell you.
Yes,
They are because if I tell you to shut up before I slap you, that doesn't mean that you're supposed to boo me. That means you're supposed to sit down and shut up. That's showing that kids are having a real hard time following directions of adults.
I blame the school system.
You know who I blame? I blame the parents.
Yes.
So
Who put them in the school system?
That's correct. It's the parents' fault as to why these kids are out here causing so much havoc. And on Saturday night, I went to a show. I hung out at a show. It was in Nyack. It was in Nyack, New York. It was Project Wrestling, and one of my friends there was the referee, D.M. Stevens. He will actually be calling in tonight at the second hour. So so that's pretty much how my weekend went, and that's exactly who will be calling in tonight. D.M. Stevens is a professional wrestling referee. I mean, we all have a story, and I think his story is pretty interesting. So we're looking forward to that.
Definitely the unsung heroes of the professional wrestling business for sure. They make it go.
Yeah.
If the wrestlers are the heart and soul of the business, then the referees are definitely the engine of it. Because without them, what's the point? What's the point? Just go watch street fights.
All I gotta say is, remember that it was a couple months ago when that NXT ref broke his leg.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Finish the match too.
Right there is all I gotta say.
But Dave, and Steve, I know you guys never wrestled, but one thing that I definitely want to put the point across is that on the indie scene, it's hard finding a good referee.
Oh
for
my
sure.
goodness,
a good referee.
Oh, yeah. But I got to shout out Mike Keener because I love working with him. Absolutely fantastic.
Mike Keener is great. He's
senior official for Capital Wrestling.
Okay.
Also, worked ECW One Night Stand for the WWE.
Oh, nice.
Worked in ECW before that.
Right.
Great guy, great locker room leader. A guy who definitely takes a lot of people under their wing. And I've seen him mentor a lot of people and just literally just sit there and just talk to them. Great person, great family man, great human being.
Yeah, myself included. I owe him a lot. I've learned a lot from him. So yeah.
You learned how to count from him?
Yeah.
Good.
It's not
how to count, how to pace, how to, timekeeping, without exposing too much.
Of course. Right, because we've paid a lot of money or bought a lot of beers in order to learn this information.
Exactly.
The biggest one for me is when as a Steve Austin fan, when you count one, you have to use your index finger.
I get that's a bad joke. I get what you were going for, but that was.
I think it works on the radio if you're having to visualize.
It works on the radio. Theater of the mind.
That's
Theater
right.
of the mind.
Wow. Okay. Well, DM Stevens will be calling at the second half of the show, so I look forward for you guys and all you guys out there that's watching us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and listening to us at RoyalRambleRadio.com. I'm looking forward for all you guys to meet him. Remember, if you're on Facebook Live right now, I just need you to hit the like or share button. Let people know that you're watching Royal Ramble Radio. If you're on YouTube right now, like, subscribe. And if you're on Twitch, subscribe. Share it. Share the link. Let everybody know you're here. Also this weekend, there was an update to the WWE Network.
Indeed, there was.
So, before we go into that, what did you guys think about the previous WWE Network? Let's call it, for the lack of a better term, I want to call the previous version that we were used to, WWE Network 1.0.
Network 1.0.
And then this one is going to be WWE Network 2.0 going forward.
Wait, is it like AOL? Do we have to get a disc for 3.0? Is what's going to happen?
Remember
They are always giving you free trials.
That is true.
That's true. I mean,
everyone in here was an AOL baby.
Yes.
Just so we're clear.
I even had CompuServe.
Nice. Netscape.
Yeah, it was cheaper. So anyway.
This old man conversation. I mean,
we just all dated ourselves.
So Steve,
I stayed quiet.
Steve, what do you think about the old WWE Network?
I thought that there were a lot of, first off, the wow factor of being able to have all of that stuff. Because we were talking about being older guys, we had to have tapes. Pre-YouTube, you had videotapes. You tape traded. or you didn't see it, or you recorded it yourself,
or you stole
didn't
cable.
see it, or you stole cable.
Yeah.
In the case of my grandfather, it's just one of those things. Statute of limitations does not apply. Cablevision, come after me.
I didn't say I did it. I just said you could do it. It was something that some people did.
So the sheer volume of having that there, having all that stuff at my disposal, was the wow factor for me. But after months of having it, then I started to see the cracks of the way it was organized. A lot of things are weird with the way it was structured. On some smart TVs, it's not exactly the most...
user friendly.
Mm-hmm. Also, it'll just randomly go network error and just shut off.
Right.
So there's a lot of kinks to go with it, but value wise, it's pretty good, and I'm sure we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, that was my impression of point one.
Yeah, I was.
What do you think?
I was actually talking to Steve about this before the show. Like for me, I guess I'm so old I don't think about this kind of stuff that much. I understand that there is a layout design, there is ease of use, how you direct traffic and flow things, and I understand there's a practicality involved.
Right.
But it just never makes that much of a difference to me. I just don't like it. But there are things that if I was going to talk about this, so new to old, is it better? Sure. Is it that big of a difference to me? Not really. However, there are a few things I did say I want that I know just won't happen. Like I would have loved it if on the side panel there was WCW.
Well, when you say side panel, what
that's
platform are you watching? What platform are you using?
On smart TV.
Okay, smart TV.
But on anything, on any platform. I know WWE won't do this, but I would have loved it if there was a WCW button, ECW button, or NWA button. Let me just go directly to the thing I want.
Okay. The menus were definitely a bit convoluted in 1.0. But like you said, there was an update.
That's right. So pretty much WWE changed their back-end streaming tech, and the change allows WWE Network more flexibility to offer different pricing structures and more. So pretty much WWE is looking to change the pricing structure of their network and possibly offer us more. You guys want to hear what the possibilities is?
Oh, absolutely.
I indeed do.
Before I go any further, right now WWE Network is $9.99. We all know that.
If you don't know it, you've never watched it.
That's correct. Or you've probably watched your friend's WWE Network.
Exactly.
So I want to throw a question out to everybody listening right now. Do you think right now for the $9.99 that you're getting, are you getting enough? I'm not talking about the storylines or anything crazy like that. I'm talking about for the $9.99 that you're paying. Do you feel that WWE is giving you your money's worth as far as the amount of content that they are providing you?
Absolutely. I definitely feel more than satisfied. I mean, the pay-per-views, $10 a month for a pay-per-view alone is enough for me. But compound that with NXT and archivals of everything, I'm more than satisfied.
Okay.
Yeah,
Not to mention the originals, all the stuff that I don't watch.
Don't forget, if you want to let us know your opinion, 609-910-0687. Join the Ramble rant line. We're gonna name it. We're gonna get a sponsorship like Subway Hot Take Line.
It's okay with
we're
that.
Gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no way that $9.99 is too cheap.
That's correct. That's
For
correct.
the amount of trust me, I love money
Because
and I love my money.
Netflix is more.
Netflix is more, and it's going up. And I find myself watching more and having more options. I get it; it's a niche thing, and Netflix services a wider parameter of people. But for me, you have to get it.
Netflix is just trying to figure out how much they can charge me for Stranger Things. That's really what it's coming down to.
Hey, this is our Royal Ramble Radio. What's your name and where you calling from? Hello.
Hello.
Hi, this is Royal Ramble Radio. What's your name and where you calling from?
I'm from New York. Roy is my name.
Hey, what's going on, Roy? What you got on the WWE Network?
I was just going to say I do think that they give you good amount for your money's worth. I'm thinking considering the pay-per-views alone and the backlog of just endless goodies from the 90s and 80s, the heyday. I mean you get so much for your money's worth. WCW, ECW, get all the good stuff, man.
So do you subscribe, Roy, do you subscribe to any other, professional wrestling services like Impact Plus or the Ring of Honor one or anything else like that?
I did for a while. My whole thing with Impact, I've always wanted Impact to be what AEW looks like it's going to be. And, I've always had a soft spot for them. When they first came out with the Impact Plus, I had it and I wanted to keep it, but just it was hard to in my mind justify keeping it when there was so much that you got from WWE. You know what I'm saying? You get that so much for the price. You know what I mean? And TNA, I actually like TNA as a product. It's just it didn't feel like it was as rounded out. You know what I mean?
Right. All right, well, Roy, thanks so much for calling, and we appreciate you watching RoyRambleradio.com. Tell your friends and let everybody know that you're watching. Don't let us be your dirty secret, all right?
Absolutely, bud.
All right, thanks for listening and watching.
Tristan's enough people's dirty secrets already.
Hey, that's right. So let me run through real quick to the changes. And this, the source that I got this from was WWE did a survey. And these were the results that they were thrown out in 2016.
Hey, yo, survey says.
So one of the first choices that they threw out was a free option. We always like free. And if it's free, I'll always say, I'll take 3 of them for me. So the first allowed you access to the 24/7 stream. They didn't really specify what the 24/7 stream is, but I'm assuming that the 24/7 stream is when you turn on the WWE Network.
The front page.
Right, and whatever's playing right now.
Yeah.
So you'll get that for free. You'll also be able to get the video archive, and they said you'll be able to watch 5 hours per month. So that's pretty much maybe one WrestleMania. You'll be able to watch one WrestleMania, and that's it. You're tapped out.
Not this past year's.
Wow.
But it's free.
No.
It's
For
free.
free, yeah.
It's gratis.
So if you're a casual fan who doesn't really watch it as much, that might entice people to come in to just check it out.
Right.
It's like
Right.
a free trial. It might get people to go, oh, hey, let me just see this. I don't really watch any of the old product. I don't need to worry about that. I just watch what's new.
Right.
So,
and when you tap out 5 hours a month, that's it. They also said you can watch on all devices. So you can watch on smartphones, televisions, gaming systems, and so on and so forth. The next option that they're giving, that they're talking about, is costing you people $4.99. It's also going to give you access to the 24/7 stream. It's going to give you access to the video archive, and you're also going to be able to watch on phone and tablet only.
So wait.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the free option,
Right.
Yeah.
you can watch on everything.
Right.
But on the $4.99 option, you can only watch on 2 platforms.
Right.
Does that
That's
make
just-
sense?
It should
No,
be
it
the other way
doesn't.
around.
You would think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand the 5-hour limit, but oh well.
Yeah.
For $4.99, you also get the big 4 pay-per-views per year, which is WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, Summer Slam, and the Survivor Series. You do get NXT every Wednesday night, but it's not live.
But it's not live.
It's not live.
So after it airs.
Right, and you also get limited commercials, unlike the free version where they're just bogging you down with commercials. So you're not going to pay the $9.99.
True.
No,
Okay.
no problem. Don't pay the $9.99. We're going to go ahead and we're going to extract $9.99 worth of your time.
Yes.
The next option that they're giving is the option that we all have now. It's $9.99 per month. You're going to get all pay-per-views. You're going to get all NXT takeovers, all NXT shows live as they happen. You're going to be able to watch on all devices. You'll be able to get the 24/7 stream, the video archive, and like I said, you can watch on all devices.
But
Okay, so as it is,
there's a but.
Right. But wait, Dave, there's more.
Oh.
They're also talking about a $14.99 option. So the $14.99 option gives you everything that we pretty much mentioned before. You're going to get deluxe fan perks. So
now what does that entail?
Yes.
So I'm thinking they didn't really specify. So I'm gonna assume that I'm gonna assume that the fan perks may be advanced access to purchasing tickets, or maybe you get access to exclusive meet and greets.
Okay.
Or maybe you have a special suite that you sit in. You get a light buffet before every event.
That
was a reach. That one was a reach.
That was just for us.
Yes,
that's
yes.
what we want.
Yes.
reach. That was more like a reach around the way you're asking for it.
You're going to get all WWE pay-per-views. You're going to get no commercials. And
Wait.
Okay.
So no commercial. Whoa. That's a big one.
Yeah.
So no commercials at all.
that's correct.
That's
But
impossible.
the $9.99 is still going to have commercials.
You'll get some commercials.
Oh.
Well,
some.
wait. But here's the thing. During pay-per-views, they have their own advertisements that they put in there.
Doesn't count.
Do they?
It does, though.
Do
it does.
Like,
yes.
Will they be able to? They could cut to the live crowd. They could cut to whatever commentary. There could be something
maybe.
else going on at that time.
But are they going to do that?
That's a good question.
I think that they use that time more so than just being able to sell advertising space with commercials.
Right.
That time, from my experience, is time to reset. It's time to figure out where we're going next to set
Right.
up everything else. So if you're telling me that I don't have that time anymore. You better have Kayla Braxton out there talking to somebody.
I almost think it's the best time period to just cut back to that, the pre-show desk.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
But
I mean, I understand this is speculation. But
this is all rumor and innuendo.
Yes, for sure.
This is not happening. This is rumor and innuendo. On the WWE call, they did I'm sorry, I just read a message in the chat. I'm going to read to you guys in a second. In the WWE chat, the
conference call,
the conference call,
calls,
right? The
yes.
business conference call. They did state that there's going to be 3 levels.
Okay.
So one of these could be one of the levels, but also in the $14.99, you're going to be able to get access to indie wrestling content. Now think about that, like Evolve. Maybe Capital Wrestling.
I'm thinking.
You
look
never
us
know.
up. Come on.
You never know.
We're already on Impact Plus.
yeah,
So-
and your company started out as Capital Wrestling, so
Whoa.
So let me go into the.
Shut up.
I mean,
So
never mind.
So let me go into the chat real quick. What else do you think that we should get for $14.99? And Steve logs in, checked in on Facebook, and he said for $14.99 you should be able to pin the 24/7 champion.
Well, I think that's implied.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
No, I think you should get that if you pay $24.07.
Wait, do we
dollars a
mean
month.
the current Maria Kanellis?
Well, she's pregnant. Who's going to pin the pregnant woman?
The baby.
But you know what?
That's the best storyline.
If she
9
lies down on
months.
her back, the baby is technically getting the
Are
pin.
they're
and then-
co-champions.
Hey, but you know what? According to WWE's rules, the baby's not qualified because the baby is not ever in WWE and not a legend or anything like that.
Okay.
But I mean, we'll definitely want to get into Raw Recap and talk about that as well too. Roy, who I think that's the same Roy that called in for $14.99, he said you should be able to wrestle Gilbert.
I think I should get a date with Alexa Bliss. And I don't mean
No.
everybody, just me.
Just you?
no.
It's going to be more than $14.99, and I think
No,
that's borderline like
It's a little
escort
weird.
service.
It's a little weird.
No.
Yeah.
No, you're not following. Okay, fine.
Dave, you're going to have to be put on timeout for that. Hey, but anybody looking for a timeout, give us a phone call, 619-910-0687. Hey, look, maybe they need a timeout of their day to give us a call or to jump in on the chat.
It's just an interesting segue.
If you're on Facebook, make sure you hit the share button, hit the like button. We want to, you know what? Don't hit the like button. Hit the heart button. We want to know that you're there. If you're on,
Is that the DDP?
Yeah, are you gang signing
like
this?
Oh, okay.
It does look like a gang sign. I apologize.
No, we don't.
We don't. Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
Only Los Boricuas.
That's right.
Shout out Savio.
That's right. And the nation. Or if you're on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe, share, like, do everything you got to do. And the same exact thing for Twitch as well.
Yeah, Royal Ramble Radio. Become a Rambler.
So out of those 4 options, which one would you pay for?
$14.99. I would pay for the match.
Hands down.
Hands down.
I'm keeping it. I would just keep it the way I have it at $9.90. The $14.99. I don't hate commercials that much, but I really need to know what is the fan perks. I do like the possibility, though. I will say that they might expand beyond being just a streaming service. Like if it does give you early access to tickets, if hypothetically, or maybe like a loot crate situation,
That
or
would
something.
be great.
That'd be
yeah,
cool.
That would be really
If-
good.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Again, speculation, but if they're trying to make this thing more than just a network, but like a fan club kind of thing.
Okay, yeah.
I like that idea. That would entice me to go to the $14.99. But if it's just, hey, I get to say goodbye to commercials, and like you pointed out, there might still be the in-program commercials anyway, no, I'll just stay $9.99.
I'm going to do it for 2 reasons. One, I support the business. That's just my opinion. I know most people won't agree with that being supporting the business. Like, oh, whatever, they have enough of my money.
Right.
2, on the chance that it improves what's going on. If me spending my money gives them the impetus of, oh, we're giving away all of this stuff, people are seeing more value. What can it change? What can it change for it will elevate other streaming platforms to do more things,
Right.
like Impact Plus,
Right.
like New Japan, to
True.
offer different things. So I think if the $14.99 package that is being rumored and discussed there, if the perks that we were talking about are also folded
Right.
into there,
Right.
it will change the game for wrestling over the top networks as a whole, which I
True.
think is really good.
True.
And I'll give you that, yeah. But you know what? I mean, I wouldn't even mind if they just gave you a free T-shirt a month if you do the.
That wouldn't be bad.
That wouldn't be bad at all.
That wouldn't be a
doesn't
bad
have to
idea.
be a great one.
Because T-shirts are $25, so I'm getting a T-shirt for
Yeah.
I can't talk for $5.
Right. I don't get to choose what. Like I just tell them my size or
Uh,
whatever. That's it.
WWE Network, whoever is sending Dave a free T-shirt, please make sure every month it is a Shawn Michaels T-shirt.
That's great. I don't have to pay for toilet paper.
You're a stupid.
You're the worst.
So Steve said,
or kindling.
Steve said in the chat that he subscribed to the Honor Club. That's Ring of Honor's version of their streaming network. They gave him the ROH archives from 2011 and on, but 50% off pay-per-views. He didn't feel it was worth it, and it's nothing against the talent. I agree.
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
nothing against the talent.
Yeah.
It's a bit like I had Impact Plus. I had the old Impact, the GFW, and I watched it. It was good to go back through
GWN, sorry.
Yeah, it was good to go back through memory lane, and they came out with this new app, and I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and try it. I migrated over. I thought I was getting Slammiversary, and what I was getting was these little house shows that I was getting.
Yeah.
And for the $7.99 that I was paying,
Wasn't worth it.
If they charged me more, I would have paid more to get these pay-per-views. But for them, I don't think it's within their best interest to undercut themselves and not get that $30, but to go ahead and get that. To
your point, WWE is in a position to do the things that Ring of Honor can't in terms of financially. They can offer more for less, whereas Ring of Honor is hopefully just trying to make some money off of this.
Right.
If they offer too much, they're losing money on it. They're going to lose money.
That's true.
I think the problem with the situation is with WWE, a lot of people forget about this, but the regular weekly show for WWE used to be an advertisement for the pay-per-view.
For the pay-per-view.
There's a way to get the pay-per-view over, get you to pay money for this. I think for Ring of Honor or some wrestling promotions that aren't available nationwide or on for everybody to have, like for where I live, I actually can't watch Ring of Honor on cable, but you can utilize. But I think for them, it's hoping that they're advertising their own product because now this is the only way you could see it.
Right.
So they have
which is
problem
crazy
with that.
considering Sinclair Broadcasting has a national reach. They just don't put them on. Yeah.
Which makes
That's
no
a totally
sense.
different story.
But it's problematic because now you're hoping that someone sight unseen is just putting enough faith in you to give you whatever money they have a month. It's much easier for WWE that's just telling you, hey, you're already watching $9.99 here. So they're using it to advertise the network, where Ring of Honor, for some cases, they just need you to put good faith in.
They just need you. They need your money.
Yeah, and so that's so that you can't count on that. So it's a rougher system for other promotions.
For sure, that's what I'm saying. WWE has the luxury of being able to do that.
Totally agree with you.
One of the things that I started doing was, a couple of weeks ago, when we had Kasim on the show, she's one of our old co-hosts,
alumni.
Roy Ramble Radio alumni. Shout out to Kasim if you're watching. And, I always told her, if you're not happy with what's on the WWE, you should go out elsewhere and venture out and see what else is out there. I'm thoroughly happy with what WWE gives. I'm not sometimes ecstatic.
Yeah.
Sometimes okay, cool. I just got my programming because I've been conditioned since, 1996, 97 to watch every Monday night.
Yeah.
But I've been watching Capital Wrestling on Fight TV app.
Yeah, which
it's
is
free.
Great, yeah, there's
free.
But not even just Capital.
I've been watching MLW.
MLW's on there. There's so many places.
Yep, I've been watching Ring of Honor. So I've been getting myself through and through to see what else is out there. And for the price of zero, that's what I'm getting. Now WWE is going to be taking all that independent content. Will they be eating off the plate of Fight Network by putting more premier professional wrestling on their network for that $4.99? What do you guys think?
My other issue with it is that people don't realize this, but there is just too much wrestling out there.
There is a lot. I don't think that there's too much, but there is a lot.
Yes.
It's only too much if you don't pick and choose.
Well, I've often thought about this, and I've often said this, and I'm not 100% firm on it, but I do believe that there are limitations to how far wrestling can go. I don't think it's for everybody. No matter what or how good it is, the idea that you will have the entirety of humanity watching wrestling is just not going to happen.
The likelihood, that's with anything. Though.
But this is not a product like bottled water or an automobile where it appeals to most adults or people with money. Professional wrestling as far as I'm concerned, its fan base can only ever get so large.
But that's the same argument you can use for football,
True.
The same argument you can use for any other entertainment industry.
True.
Like bottled water, you need to live.
Right.
An automobile becomes a utility. You need it to get to your job.
No, I totally understand.
So you can buy the water so you can live.
But it's the same. But same thing with the NFL. They are not going to get people in Europe who are soccer fans.
For sure. Yeah.
And they tried.
Yeah, they have.
And they'll continue to.
But they are growing. I will say the NFL's growing. But anyway, that's my point is there's only so far you can go. I think WWE Network is in the same thing. It doesn't matter how much more they give people. I think there's a limit to how many people are willing to sign up for it.
Yes, but those people being satisfied is important.
Oh, it is
to
but
keep
I
that
think
money.
they are. I know. I'm thoroughly.
I'm thoroughly satisfied
Right.
myself, but I'm not going to turn away more stuff.
No, I'm not either.
Well, Roy checks in on the chat, and he said, to be honest, WWE Network's back catalog is more enticing than the new product to him. He's a creature of nostalgia.
I agree.
So, but I want to take that same exact question and compare it to everything else. So, the Impact. Do you think that Impact's previous catalog is more interesting than what they currently offer?
I think that would entice me to pay for Impact Plus more so than the current product. Not saying that the current product is bad.
Right.
It's just having that wealth and being able to go back and start from one. Because I'm a person who likes, and this is my knock on the WWE Network, which I wish they would add this feature, is I like to watch the entire year, like a progression. I'll pick a year, and I'll go, all right, I'm going to watch Raw,
right.
Then I'm going to watch the Smackdown after,
right.
build all the way to the pay-per-view.
I see what you're saying, right.
So if I have the Impact library, I'm more enticed to go watch that. I think WWE should have a feature where you can watch it all by year.
Right.
And everything chronologically that they broadcast is in there. This way you can follow the story, kind of like a YouTube playlist, or maybe a make your own playlist thing like on YouTube. That's a little bit more convenient.
I want a feature where they play Raw and Nitro simultaneously from the same date, and you can flip back and forth all you want.
A Monday Night Wars thing.
You just relive that.
Like they have a playlist that's Monday Night Wars where it's Raw, and then you get the Nitro after.
No. I want them playing concurrently, and I push a button to go back and forth.
Yeah, right. Good job, Dave. So, okay,
It's called picture in a picture.
No, you're not getting it.
Get 2 TVs.
So let me ask you this question, all right? Because you guys know I love questions, and when my pal D.M. Stevens calls in later on, we'll have some questions for him. The question I want to have to you guys before we wrap up and move on to the next segment is this: do you think the WWE Network 2.0 is an improvement or it's an improvement? I'll start with you, Dave, and everybody else in the chat. Feel free to volunteer your opinion or call in at 609-910-0687. Dave, what do you think? Improvement or unimprovement?
Without knowing what the perks are, because it's a very vague term.
But that part we don't have that yet,
Yeah,
based on what you see now.
As is right now.
Based off of what I know, I would say it's not an improvement. I would actually say it's going the other way. And not for me personally, but because all I know now is for $14.99, no commercials. Okay, that's not a big enough deal for me. But I think it's a mistake giving it away for free, even as limited as it is. That's going to incentivize people to cancel.
He's talking about the interface right now.
Like right now, as it stands.
As it is right now.
Remember, all that stuff was rumored and innuendo.
Oh, we're not talking about the tiers.
We're just talking about the
let me try again.
Software update.
Let me try again. WWE Network 1.0 versus WWE Network 2.0. Is WWE Network 2.0 an improvement or an improvement over 1.0?
It's a wash.
So you're just...
It makes no difference.
You're just meh.
Yeah.
Okay. Steve?
I think that from the little bit that I've seen so far, I think it's a slight improvement. There's not much to it. It's slight. The interface is a little bit sleeker.
Yep.
The playlist options are a little bit cleaner.
Right.
It's the same thing, but it just seems to function better. Having that side tab now is a little bit better.
Right.
It seems they're heading in the right direction. I don't think that they're done. I think there'll be a 2.1 and a 2.5, or a 1.9, and then a 2.0. I don't think that they're done tweaking.
So
now.
What platforms do you watch it on? Just so that we know.
Either I'll watch it on my Mac or I'll watch it on an Xbox. An Xbox One, because the 360 version soon will not work, folks. Just so you know. Update your systems. I'll watch like that. I very rarely watch on my phone, so that mobile option that you were talking about wouldn't appeal to me.
Right. For me, it's when I'm on the go. I'm on the gym, walking the Stairmaster. I'll do that.
Gime? What's a gime?
What?
He means gym.
Oh,
Lord.
A gime.
What do you watch on, Dave?
I watch on a smart TV.
For me, I watch primarily on the Xbox, and from what I can see on the Xbox, it reminds me of Netflix. The way that you're on the video and it just starts playing out a little bit before you hit play, and you've already passed by 3 seconds. I watched the Big Show documentary on there. That documentary was really cool.
I really hope that this $14.99, if They're making. I want to see more original content. The thing is with them is when this was presented originally, I thought it was going to be a television network. I thought we were going to get a Edge and Christian,
right?
Season 1, then a season 2, then a season, like a natural progression when it comes to television.
Right.
But we haven't. Where Holy Foley, we didn't get a season 2 or anything. Do you want one? That's neither here nor there.
That's another discussion.
But that's the problem. People aren't watching these shows enough for them to keep it going.
But you have to, if you have the ability to make them, you make it until something hits. It's the NXT argument we had the other day with the $33 million. Sometimes you have to lose money to make money.
Oh, sure.
And I think investing in original content, look at how well it did for Netflix.
Right.
They developed, all those Marvel things. I mean, sure, Disney took them away and whatever.
No,
but all their original shows have benefited them. So I think that they should do more of that.
I agree with it, but the difference is they have their numbers. People watch Stranger Things. Nobody watches Camp WWE.
Well, you don't know what they're going to watch until you make it.
That's correct.
So you have to try.
Like when we do the show, when Brian and I normally do the show, we hope that people watch it. So what we try to do is give you a compelling and entertaining product every single week. Like you said, scared money makes no money. Like, we invest a lot of money into the show, the cameras, the computers. This computer that I have here,
the taquitos.
Taquitos, right? Yeah, 7-Eleven, sponsor us. This computer here, I had to buy extra RAM. I had to pop open the computer myself. I'm a computer guy, and I put it in. We bought new cameras. We have to spend. I don't want to be a guy sitting in somebody's basement talking about professional wrestling.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
To me, it's not that it's weird. It's different, and I like to be different from everybody else.
Gotcha.
But, for me, I think overall, WWE Network is an improvement. WWE Network 2.0 is an improvement. DJ Rasco wants me to shout him out, so shout out to DJ Rasco.
That'll be $10.99.
Yes, we'll have to charge you for that.
Tier system.
Tier system.
First name, last name.
You got both names, man. So,
hey, but I mean,
gimmick name is an extra $5.
But if you're listening, 609-910-0687, is that the phone number?
Yeah, you got it every single time.
Wow, that's the phone number. Feel free to give us a phone call. Let us know what you think, or you can continue to chime in on the chat. Steve and Roy, we appreciate you guys hanging out in the chat, and share and let your friends know that you're here.
Don't forget, we have that interview coming up in just about 15 minutes.
That's right. We have D.M. Stevens, professional wrestling referee. But speaking of WWE Network, I watched Ride Along. You guys watch Ride Along?
On occasion, I do. I've watched. The most recent one I watched was the Peyton Royce and
I wonder
Billy
why it
Kay.
was that one.
And Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. I love all four of those people.
I watched the episode that I want to talk about is the one that just happened with Heavy Machinery and in one car and Aleister Black and Ricochet in the other. However, the episode before, they drove past my house.
Really?
They did. They were going to Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania.
Uh-huh.
I think it was from Brooklyn. I'm sitting the entire time like, yep, I know exactly where that is. Yep, they're on the thruway. Yep, they're on 17. Yep.
Was that the one with the Iconics and when they were headed? No, that was Austin. Which one are you talking about?
It was the last episode.
The one before. Okay, got it.
Yes.
Did you look out your window?
It was.
It's just Tristan holding a sign as the car goes by.
Hey, I'm here.
Tristan 316.
But there's a scene in there that just in this episode of Ride Along with Heavy Machinery and Aleister Black and Ricochet, and they got stopped by the police.
Yeah.
The police officer pulls them over, and you know what the police officer asks them?
For an autograph?
Almost close. If you guys didn't watch it, this is going to be a spoiler, but I'm not going to blow the finish on the entire show. The police officer asks them, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing with all these cameras in here? Now, let me tell you something. I have a lot of police officers that are friends, so this is not a police officer bashing moment.
Yeah.
But I'm just not a fan of dumb questions.
That is a very, very silly question.
Like, what are they doing? Like, they're obviously they're recording something. So, there's plenty of times that I get stopped at the border because I go to Canada a lot, and I'm getting ready to go to Canada next week for Summer Slam. I already got my NXT tickets. And I'm actually going to see my niece. She's a newborn. She's only 8 days old.
Whoa.
What's up, Mackenzie? I know you can't talk.
8-day-old Rambler.
Yeah, so what's up, Mackenzie? Thanks for watching.
You know she can't talk. Maybe she can.
She might. She maybe talks baby. But when I go up to the border, they always want to stop me and ask dumb questions. There was one time.
Where you going, eh?
There was one time I was driving up to Canada, right, to Toronto, and I got asked by the border agent on the Canadian side, where are you from? You have my driver's because I have the enhanced ID.
Yeah.
So for those of you guys who don't know, if you live in a border state,
Basically a passport.
it's a passport. It has all your information and stuff like that. The guy asked me, where are you from?
It's right there.
I said, I'm from New York. He goes, where? I go, Middletown. And he goes, where are you going? I go, Ontario. He goes, Ontario's big. I'm like, in my mind, isn't New York big?
Yeah, right?
You're like, do you, you know.
I'm going to Canada.
Right.
Well, maybe he thought you accurately described it. Oh, you're from the middle of the town.
Well,
So-
I'm going to 117 Maple Gretzky Lane.
Right.
Oh, hey, yeah.
Sometimes the dumb question I get asked. So the next time I got asked the question on the Canadian side, I got asked where do I live? I told him Middletown, New York, and he goes, oh. I said, do you know where that is? He goes, no. How far from New York is that? I said, golly, golly. I think he meant New York City. I'll give him that. The one that takes the cake was one time coming back from Canada. Right. This is on the American side.
Okay.
So I feel like they put me through a lot of hassle to come back into my country.
Of course.
So the border agent wanted to ask me in my car, what do you have in the car? So I'm looking at this border agent and I'm looking around the car. I'm like, what is he looking for?
There's nothing in there.
So I look at him with a dead stare and go, clothes? He goes, I don't mean clothes. I said, I apologize, sir. I don't know what you mean. He goes, do you have bombs? Do you have knives? I said, sir, who carries that in their car?
Not only that, who, when prompted with that question, would go, absolutely, you caught me.
Yes, I got a bomb in the back seat. Oh, man.
You guys are good at your job.
We here at Royal Ramble Radio do not condone the usage of border bombs.
So, I mean, you need to say less. I was brought into extra screening for that.
Yes. Rubber glove treatment?
Yes, I definitely got some kind of treatment.
Did you tip him?
You know what? What they pretty much do is they take you in there. They want to ask you a lot of questions. There's been times that I've driven up with my uncle, and they ask me, "You guys ready for?" And here's what they asked me. They said to me, "Who is this guy next to you?" I said, "That is my uncle." And they go, "Who is this guy next to you?" To my uncle. He goes, "That's my nephew." And then he says to him,
How are you
Your
related?
story checks out.
They said to me, "Well, how long have you known him?" Well, I'm about 32 years old, so about 32 years.
Yeah, so...
33, depending on your
How
ideal.
long have you known him? About the same.
Also on WWE Network, have you guys checked out the photo shoot with Shane McMahon?
I have
No.
not, but I actually enjoy that show a lot.
Yes. Steve checked in the chat. He loves that show as well, too.
Yeah.
Thanks, Steve, for checking in on
It's
Facebook.
another great one. I have not, but those are always good. I don't know if you guys remember, it was Josh Matthews and the Road Dogg. They had a YouTube show called Are You Serious?
Yes, I remember
With the
that.
Triple H puppet and all that. I think that is kind of the precursor for a lot of these shows, because
Right.
that was a pretty successful show.
Yes, I remember seeing that.
So I think that the photo shoot show is kind of like, it came from there. But yeah, there's a lot of content on the WWE Network that I like, including
what
photo shoot.
occurs to me when you have wrestlers like Zack Ryder, who had a successful YouTube channel. Why don't they just let him have his own show on the network?
They weren't there yet, and now
That's
they're
right.
And now they're embarrassed. I think.
But you hear my point. Like
He
or-
should have a figure
Yeah.
hunting show.
Yeah, or Cesaro with his YouTube channel. Same exact kind of content, but put that on there.
Or you know what? Take Sheamus's, the Celtic Warrior workout.
Or that too.
See, here's the thing. For a lot of these guys, they want to own this.
That's
They don't-
true.
They don't want to be involved. Xavier Woods changed the game, and he has
Up,
from
up,
what-
down,
from-
down.
Yes, from what I understand, he has a very good deal with them.
Right.
That is very pro him. You know what I mean? Like
Hey,
the deal that he has benefits him more than it benefits the WWE.
Right.
Now, if those guys are and he built that on his own.
Right.
Right.
So now the Celtic Warrior workouts and all that stuff is nowhere near on
No.
that level yet.
No, but it's interesting to
it
watch.
can be. So if they grow their product to that point, maybe they can. Maybe they can
That's what
wind
I'm
up
saying.
getting folded in, but they're not yet.
Give me your. I like to ask Dave. Dave, what are you looking at?
I don't know. He's mean mugging you.
You took your shoe off?
I always take my shoes off, Dave. You're lucky my socks are still on.
Yeah, I know. Oh, man. That's luck. That is something.
So right now I always take my shoes off when I'm in the studio. I don't know. It's just a thing that I do. I'm not a shoe type wearing kind of guy. I don't.
Generally, I'm not either.
When I drive my car, I like to take my shoes off. There's nothing better.
And you wonder why they ask you so many questions.
Well, it's only because he has 8 toes.
No, I don't. I have all 10 toes. They might, there's nothing better than the hottest day in August.
And most of them are his.
There's nothing better than the hottest day in August that you turn the AC on, but have it only blow from underneath.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have your feet in there. Golly, that feels so good.
Or you're wearing shorts and going commando. This got weird.
That was just you.
This got weird.
You have something you want to get off your chest?
No, man. Sometimes that air flows.
You have something you want to put on his chest?
No, I'm good.
That's.
I was just asking.
I'm good.
I was offering.
Yeah, I'm good.
Need an adult.
So, Dave,
Yeah.
back to the topic. What's your favorite show on the WWE Network? And we know for you, it's not Camp WWE.
Does NXT count?
No, I don't think that.
No,
counts.
I'm talking about original content.
Non-in-ring stuff. Which
really
one do you find yourself watching?
I really don't. I mean, I've watched a couple of the Corey Gray series, or like the countdown list.
I used to have a friend that
The top tens.
used to produce that show.
But
Which
they don't
one?
really,
The countdown or
Countdown, yes.
But they really don't do that much.
And Total Divas. Sorry, Dave.
No, that's fine. It's like, and that's like YouTube-y kind of
they,
stuff.
They folded that in
Yeah.
to This Week in
Right.
WWE and all
Right.
that stuff.
Right, but that's the kind of stuff I like. But they kind of
I like 365.
365 is not
I
bad.
like 365. I like the 24.
I prefer 24 more.
I like the 365 only because it covers more, whereas 24 gives you like a certain period
Right.
of time, and you go from, like with the Becky one, it was like from when she got injured
Right.
to WrestleMania. With the 365, you kind of get the whole scope of what's going on,
Right.
which I prefer a little bit more, but, they're comparable. They're comparable shows. That's one. I did like Corey Graves and his tattoo,
The tattoo one.
Superstar Inc., I think it was
Uh-huh.
called. I like Edge and Christian.
Edge and Christian was good.
I like that show. I mean, and it's a chance for Tommy Dreamer to get a payday.
Hey.
I'm just an in-ring kind of guy, I guess. For me.
I like seeing other people's personality. I would love to
I have
see
no
the
problem
Stone
with that.
Cold podcast and those kinds of things
There you
find
go.
a place.
No,
But
I'm
they-
sorry.
they
when
were.
when the Stone Cold podcast was on, that would be my answer. That was the show I definitely
Okay.
watched the most.
Yeah,
So
I
what-
would like to see
You're right,
more
I
of that, like
forgot- I
something
forgot
to
about
wrestle with. Stone Cold,
Right.
Steve Austin, like Edge and Christian's podcast. But a lot
Right.
of these guys want to own
Right.
their stuff.
Which is fair.
Which is fair.
Which is
Absolutely fair.
I think that everybody should be properly compensated for what they did.
I think it's fair that they let people own their stuff, but realize that this is what you're getting to get these people to pay $9.99 or whatever a month. It's like you're just doing this to get the subscription. Having these guys on the platform, they can still retain ownership. It's like for me, the Rhodes name,
Right.
perfect example. WWE gains nothing by holding on to it, but Cody could do something with it. You're just holding on to it and saying he can't use it because you want to. It's like, hey, Jim Cornette, do your podcast on the network. You get to retain ownership. You get all archival rights. We're not messing with you in any way, shape, or form. We just know that by you being on this network, you get the option.
You can't do
Or
that,
whoever.
though. You have to have some oversight if you're a publicly traded company.
Right.
And this is your platform.
Okay,
You
that's fair.
can't give a guy like Jim Cornette specifically.
No, yeah,
but
I was throwing
any-
out an example, but
anybody.
that's fair. But you get my point. Yeah,
For sure.
I agree with that, but just in
I'm
general.
sure Xavier Woods has certain guidelines that
Yes.
he agreed
That's
to.
correct. That's
for
correct.
sure.
Right.
But he has started the trend of having that. But he
Sure.
also built a lot of that first million that he got himself.
Right. Steve checked in on the chat. He said, Unfiltered with Renee Young was really good. She's a hell
That was good.
of a bit more comfortable doing that. She's breaking a barrier in Raw. And speaking of Renee Young, when we come back on the other side of the break, we're going to be talking about rude fans on social media. I want to discuss, like, what is the line between having a great time or overstepping your boundaries?
Yeah, I look forward to it.
We're going
later.
to definitely want to discuss that. And after the break, we're also going to have DM Stevens, professional wrestling referee. He's going to be calling in, and he's going to be talking to us, about his story, about how he became a referee, and what his future goals are. This guy has refereed a lot of matches this year.
See, if you're a referee, this is a question that I want to ask, and remind me to ask this to
Okay.
him. Do they get eye coverage?
I don't know what that means. So that they can see? I don't know what you mean. You lost me. I'm lost. Somebody find me.
Do they get lens crafters prescriptions?
Okay.
I was deadpanning. Never mind.
Okay.
You succeeded.
Yeah.
So I know we got 5 minutes.
We got a
till
couple minutes before break.
Yeah, we got 5 minutes till the break.
What's your favorite show?
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
I don't think we got
No,
to
you
what
guys
your
didn't ask
favorite
me.
show.
My favorite show overall is 24, and 365 would be number 2.
Okay.
I like to see the content that's not That's not a work. I want
So
to see
you prefer to see the
I
shoot to
will
the
right,
kayfabe.
yeah, I give you that too. I do prefer that.
Right,
as
because
well,
I know
myself.
how me and some of the boys are in the locker room. Like some of us are clowns.
Yeah.
You know, and some of us do, do different things in the back. Some people play video games, and me, you get me around for 3 seconds, I'm going to sell you on the fact on why you should listen to the show or watch the show. And because of that, I got Lawrence and Amanda. They're watching. Lawrence is watching on YouTube, and Amanda's watching on Facebook. I
Ramblers,
sold
what's
them.
up?
I sold them on why they should watch the show. So thanks for checking us out, guys. You guys are now internet famous.
Internet.
But I appreciate the fact that I can see how the wrestlers are behind the scenes.
Yeah.
For sure, because that's the part where their characters might be completely different than who they are as a person.
That's
or what
right.
they're portraying, and it's nice to see that wall.
Right.
I also think for the most part, today's day and age, we're a little more fortunate in wrestler behavior. Because I feel like if you did this like 30 years ago, you probably couldn't show a lot of.
Oh, Haku would have just smashed the
right,
cameraman with
Right,
another
no
cameraman.
chance. Yeah.
Do you think that WWE Network would have worked in the 70s?
No.
Yes, for the in-ring stuff.
Okay.
No for original content.
exactly. For
It would have been
original
kayfabe content.
Right.
But a show like Tuesday Night Titans and stuff like that, that's stuff that would have worked in the 70s on the WWE
Yes.
Network. I think it would have been more in-studio shows like that in the 70s and 80s for the WWE Network, but there certainly wouldn't have been any non-kayfabe
Right,
original content.
right.
There would have been. How great would it have been to see a full Gorilla and Bobby the Brain Heenan variety show, like a show where all of those sketches were happening, like a weekly show or a nightly show like that. It would have been fantastic. I would have gobbled that up as a kid. I'd gobble that up right now.
I mean,
So, go
Piper's
ahead.
Pit could have even been a show by itself, like a
True.
real straight up talk
Pro
show.
Wrestling's Wendy Williams.
True.
Yes.
You know what? That makes a good point. The Piper's Pit, and rest in peace, Roddy Piper. It's 4 years to the day that we lost Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper could have been a good show. Bruce Pritchard, the one that he did when he was Brother Love
What
Love
was
show.
it called?
Wasn't it called the Brother Love Show?
I think so.
Oh.
Even the Funeral Parlor.
Those could have been great additional content. For
sure.
Okay, so let's move forward to the 90s. Do you think WWE Network would have worked in the 90s?
Yeah.
Yes, but I think that it would have been a lot more salacious content. It would have been definitely like GTV would have been a show.
That
it
would
would
have
have been
good.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which I don't think would have appealed
Yeah, it's
to
called Big
as
Brother.
many people. Yeah, I don't think that it would have appealed to as many demographics, but they would have had more people in the one
I
demographic.
think by the late 90s, it would have been very experimental TV. They would have tried
yeah.
everything to
Oh,
get
yeah.
at
Sure.
the wall.
Because they don't have the networks telling them what to do.
Right. But like Steve, I agree that it had to be after kayfabe was gone. After Vince exposed the business and all that.
Well,
I think that would be the biggest key to the network's survival.
all right, well, after the break, guys, we're getting ready to take a break. So after the break, I need you guys to stick and stay with us because after the break, we're going to talk about who's Chris Jericho's tag partner for AEW. We're going to go into Raw and Smackdown recap. We're going to go into rude wrestling fans of social media, and we're going to come back with an interview with D.M. Stevens. Stick and stay with us, fans. We will be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Royal Ramble Radio. I am your host for the evening because my man Brian is not here. I am Tristan Law, and I have Steve James, the voice of Capital Wrestling here, and my compadre, I guess, Dave Lee from Dave Knows Wrestling on YouTube. So yeah, we're back. Before the break, we had a really big discussion about the WWE Network. You can definitely go back in the archives and look on it. But on the phone right now, like I said and like I promised, we have my pal, Pro Wrestling Referee D.M. Stevens. Steve-O, what's going on, man?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure to be talking to you for a little bit.
Well, I mean, I apologize that we couldn't get you on last week. We had a little bit of difficulties, the technical last week, so I'm glad that we were able to stick you in this week. And I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that everybody's going to get to know you because the majority of our fans are not familiar with independent wrestling superstars like myself or referees like you. But let's start from the top. How long you been in wrestling, man?
How long have I been in wrestling? Well, I had my first match December 1st, 2008. Started refereeing around 2013. Kind of getting back in the swing of things on a more consistent basis this past April. And, it's been an interesting journey from 2008 to now, just kind of being in and out. I kept myself enough in the loop where I wouldn't be too out of touch with some of the newer people coming in and whatnot. It's been interesting, for many different aspects.
You see, for me, I left as well too, and I left for my own reasons. I wanted to do different things, and I think I kept myself too much out of the loop because when I came back about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, I'm like, who are all these people? Who are all these kids wrestling now? But it changed a lot, and I'm surprised. Like in the time that I was running and you were running, we didn't bump into each other, right? We never bumped into each other, right?
I believe never did. I knew of who you were because I believe you wrestled for BWO for some time.
Yes, I was the champion for about a year.
The name, but I don't think we bumped into each other. But believe me, I kept in touch, or not kept in touch, but I knew a lot more names than people would give me credit for. Not just the top indie stars, but I knew a bunch of other names along the way too. So I mean.
So you started out as a wrestler, right? Where did you train?
I actually trained JWA United, Joe Rule's school, basically, which then led to Corey Havoc and Dirtbag Dan training me.
Oh, Dirtbag Dan.
And, I did a tryout. I didn't do a tryout. It was a tryout match for another tag team at another company. I'm sure you're familiar with it. I don't want to give the name on there. Not that they're around anymore.
Go ahead, drop the name.
But I was there working security. There was a tag team coming in looking for a tryout. I tagged with somebody, and I don't want to drop names, but somebody who is currently on TV now.
Right.
And that actually wound up being the connection to my first booking. They're like, hey, we want to get this guy over. And, if you could come over, just do a squash, that's great. So I did that. He got in trouble, which led to never being allowed back in that company again.
I see why you didn't. I see why you didn't drop that name.
Me getting more dates there, and yeah.
Okay, man. So what is it that made you want to get into wrestling? Because everybody has a story, and tell me if your story is like mine. Everybody has the story. It's like, oh yeah, when I was 5 years old, and I wanted to become a wrestler, and I watched the Macho Man. What's your story? What made you want to go into this crazy business?
Oh man.
Did we lose you?
Testing was Survivor Series 1991.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can just remember being so upset that Hulk Hogan was, Bobby Heenan kept screaming, Hulkamania is dead after Undertaker defeated him for the title, and he was tombstoned on the chair. Like,
no, it's not. Shut up, Bobby. It's still on.
But from the stories that my mother would tell me, I was like 2 years old, clicking through the channels, and I guess I must have landed on, I don't know what program, but I was hooked from there. I just stopped, and I just kept watching, and My mother was a big wrestling fan growing up, too. Her favorite was Bruno Sammartino. She would watch wrestling with her grandmother. So basically, when I got hooked, it was highly encouraged to watch it, you know, and just to be myself, love and watch it.
My grandmother was a big wrestling head.
Really?
When she came to America, she loved wrestling. She would sit there and watch WWF Saturday Night, and my mother hated wrestling. My mother hated wrestling so much that there was a time that Goldust slapped Marlene on Monday Night Raw. My mother busted up in the room like gangbusters. Now, let me tell you guys think I'm tall. My mother was back in the day. My mother was 5'11" and had attitude and knew how to work a belt like a nunchuck.
And as a little kid, it's even bigger.
Of course. I was only a teenager. My mother told me no wrestling. My mother told me a couple of years ago that if your grandmother was alive, she'd be proud to see that you wrestle and stuff like that.
She's watching. She's listening right now, I'm sure.
That's right.
How did your mother feel when you told her you were going to become a wrestler?
You know,
that must be an amazing...
I know it's not about me. It's about D.M. Stevens. But real quick, I didn't tell my mother I went to wrestling school.
She just found out now?
No. My mother found out when she was like, "Where are you going?" And I told her, I said, "I go to wrestling school." She goes, "Who pays for it?" "I do." She goes, "We want money with the money that I work." So, So it looks like we lost him. Yeah, his signal sounded kind of shoddy, so maybe we can get him back.
Yeah, hopefully he'll call back. Call on back, brother, if you can. We have a couple more questions, especially. I'm interested to know because we talked about referees, and we're talking about how it's hard to find a good one. It's got to be a really difficult job to be everywhere. Yeah. And be unseen at the same time.
That's
Sounds
correct.
like Ra's al Ghul speech to Batman.
Kind of. But it's true.
Some referees want to be in everything like Salt. They don't understand that they're supposed to be, and you guys can use that, in everything like Salt. Some people...
Delicious.
Yeah, some people don't understand that they're just supposed to be in and then be out. You're supposed to count. You're not supposed to be in every single thing. But D.M. Stevens put on his Facebook... that he wrestled over 33 matches this month, and he did 86 for the year. So those of you guys listening, we're Royal Ramble Radio. Be sure to make a comment on YouTube or Facebook if you're watching. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit share. Let everybody know that you're watching Royal Ramble Radio. Don't let us be your dirty secret.
Every Thursday night
from 7 to 9.
There you go.
That's right. RoyalRambleRadio.com. Check us out. Did we get him back on the line? No.
No, so far, no call back. We'll continue on, I guess, and hopefully he can get back when he can get back. But if not, what a wealth of information. If you're out there and you're listening and you're a professional wrestler and you don't appreciate your referee, you're doing it wrong. If you are a fan and you don't understand why referees are important, talk to a professional wrestler because any one of them will tell you. A lot of guys start off, that's their first opportunity is being a ref. A lot of guys break into the business that way.
You know what's funny? When I was going to pro wrestling school, I learned to be a referee as well too. Because for me, I just want to do anything.
Just want to be in
and
it,
everything
involved,
in the business.
yeah.
I love this business. I like the brotherhood, the sisterhood. Granted, there's some people in the wrestling business that want to stab you in the back.
It's every business.
Yeah, but there's some really good guys in this business. This guy here's a good guy. I mean, if I keep buttering him up, he'll probably give me a count.
There you go.
For
favorable count.
Did we get him back yet?
No. I'll let you know.
I think one of the more
calls yet.
There are tons of things that everybody knows about referees, and they don't get appreciated enough. But when it comes to referees, a lot of people know about how much they choreograph everything, how much they're responsible for taking care of everything.
It's a different number.
But in the major part of professional wrestling, for the referees that I think is important, is that people don't really think about them as the fan with the best seat in that house. So it's like if you want to see the fans react to something, you're looking at the referee. A lot of referees will sell moves. A lot of referees will sell hits and what's going on in the ring and their reactions. They're really putting things over, which I think doesn't get enough credit.
There he goes. We got you back on the line?
Yes, you do.
Oh, man. I'm glad. I mean, I don't know what happened. Maybe you were getting ready to go to another wrestling show because I was telling everybody that you've...
No, I didn't get called for another booking yet.
He's reffing a match right now.
I mean,
Currently.
it's okay, because if you're going to take a booking over this phone call, go ahead and take the booking. I was telling everybody right as the call dropped that you've done 33 matches as of Monday. You did 33 matches, and you've done 86 matches for the year.
Yeah, a lot of Iron Man stints.
I know, like,
but you know, I'm grateful for all the reps that I have been able to get and all the matches I've been able to do. I mean, I've been able to do some bangers over the last year. So I mean, it's been a good time. And by the way, I wanted to correct you. I think I did 3 of your matches this year, not 2. I think you were at both Ridgefield Park tapings, and then there was another one at a church, I believe, in. Oh God, I don't even remember.
When you say church, it sounds familiar. Oh, that was the church. Yes. The one.
The really small building.
Yes. And they were all for ECPW. Yes. The one that we did last TV taping for ECPW in Ridgefield Park. That one's getting ready to show up on YouTube. So that'd be cool, you know, to see you not count for me. So I'm thinking that maybe possibly after this, maybe you can start, helping me out. You know, counting to 3 faster when I'm pinning and slow when the other guy's pinning. What do you think?
Listen, I'm just doing my job.
Yeah, and you should just get up faster,
I don't take any
Tristan.
names.
You know, you should be able to just take a beating better and get up faster.
Says the guy that's never taken a beating.
There you go. You're about to take a beating if you don't stop.
Hey, I've never got punched in the face. That makes me better than you.
We'll remedy that at the end of the show. But having the best seat of the house every single night, seeing all of these matches, what are some of your favorites so far this year that you've had the privilege to be a part of?
Some of my favorite matches I ref this year?
Oh yeah.
Oh God, I just worked one on
Saturday.
Last Saturday, it was for Squared Circle Project. I refereed Josh Briggs and KTB, which wound up turning into a street fight. That was pretty wicked.
Oh, you had your hands full.
Same show. Matt Travis was in a match. The opponent's name is escaping me at the moment. I have to.
Was that the one? Was that Meringue? What's the guy? Oh my God, that wrestles
Matt
the Capitol.
Travis versus Sage Kanian.
No, he has a mask.
Not Matt McIntosh.
Smiley.
Yeah, that was it. It was the Blackheart or
the Bad Apple.
Black
Matt
Brave Challenge, and that match was absolutely wild. I mean, those 2 definitely really stick out in my mind. As far then getting the opportunity at Violence and Suffering not too long ago, officiating a fatal 4-way between Teddy Hart, Homicide, Tony Deppen, and Pinky Sanchez. I mean that, just a couple of those that really stick out in my mind, and it's crazy because, okay, Trish, you can understand, like we've been in and out of the game for a little while now, but to think that so soon coming back in, I'm getting the opportunity to be sharing the same ring with a lot of these guys who are making names for themselves right now in the independent scene, and that I get to share the ring with them with the best seat in the house that's not front row.
Right.
I mean, it's just so cool. I mean, it's really hard to put into words the opportunities that I've been able to have afforded to me. It's taken a while, but since I've been coming back consistently in relatively short order.
The best part is that you don't have to punch out your bump card by being a referee.
It depends.
I do have a question, if I may.
You may.
Thank you. As a referee, how important? Because I think this is something, I've talked about this with several other people, and I don't think enough people know about this. How important is keeping in physical shape as a referee? How important is it that you maintain?
You're going to have to repeat that again. I can't hear you quite well.
Oh, sorry. How important is it that you maintain being in shape or being athletic as a referee? Because I think a lot of people don't realize how much that actually matters for being a ref.
Yeah, you're talking about being athletic as a referee, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of look. I'm not judging anybody's body shape or size or anything like that. But for me personally, I mean, over the last 3 years, I've lost like 60 to 65 pounds, maybe a little bit more, just to get myself in good shape, just to live a better life. But as a referee, yeah, I mean, if they decide to try and blow you up, you got to be ready for when they're ready to mess with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got to be ready for all situations. That's why, being as an amateur wrestler too, I take pride in that, and whatever MMA classes I've taken in the past, just everything comes in handy.
you got to defend yourself. God forbid something gets out of hand. I also recommend referees to be AED and CPR certified with the specialization in first aid, which I'm actually going to renew mine soon.
That's actually good to have.
But being in shape, it definitely helps. If you're out of shape and you're trying to keep up with some of these guys and girls that really can go, I mean, it's amazing what the talent pool is in pro wrestling right now. You got to keep up. I think it's very important to keep yourself in at least decent physical condition there. And Tristan, you could, I'm sure, a couple of you can relate to this. It's different being in shape than in ring shape.
That's right.
Yes.
So
I can wrestle
accordingly.
I can wrestle a 12-minute match right now.
Applies to being a referee as well. If you're any halfway decent, you're always moving.
Right.
Right. I could wrestle a 12-minute match right now, but don't ask me to run a marathon. I'm not running a mile. I can't do it.
It's a different set of muscles. It's a different wind.
Yeah,
because
you could run longer if you get hit in the chest repeatedly.
Right, because wrestling is different. Like, I got to throw myself down and bring myself up, and I got to do this, I got to do that. I got to work the crowd. I got to work the gimmick, and I got to listen to the ref so that the ref doesn't count me out. But D,
if you're Iron Manning a match, I mean, you're constantly going up and down, counting the pins and checking submissions, all that stuff. I mean, you're basically doing so many squats. And you're going to blow yourself up, or burpees, or whatever the hell you want to call it. You're getting yourself a workout there too.
So before we let you go, I always give my friends or the fellow wrestlers or wrestlettes that call in, I give them an opportunity to put themselves over. Let everyone know where you're going to be, and let them know how they can find you on social media. Hello?
Sorry, talk a little bit more in the microphone. I don't know if you're asking me something or not.
Okay, no, sorry. I was saying that I like to give my friends the chance to put themselves over. So pretty much let everyone know where you're going to be and how they can find you on social media.
Yeah, sure. You can follow me on Twitter at Calypso426. That's KALYPSO426. That was the name I went by when I wrestled, and it stuck with me forever. So I just decided, screw it, I'm going to keep it. Instagram at Ref D.M. Stevens. And this week I'm going to be in Wharton, New Jersey for D2W Pro Wrestling on Friday. That is my only booking for this week. Just keep track of my socials. I'm always constantly updating my bookings. And, just figure out where you can find me from here on out, pretty much.
All right, well, no problem, brother. Hey, thanks very much for calling, man. I'll see you soon, and remember, like, when you count for me, brother.
We'll see each other sooner than later. By the way, I'm sorry, I didn't catch names at the very beginning of the show. Whoever's wearing the 2KW shirt, I applaud you.
Thanks.
That's Steve James.
Yeah. I used to call their matches in the latter half of the company. So.
Oh man, Christ, I can go on forever about them in a positive way, but yeah, Again, I paid attention to a lot more than just like some of the big-time indies. So, I mean, I paid a lot of attention to a lot of wrestling. But I just wanted to applaud you for the shirt. Oh. And thank you for having me on. And, Tristan, I'll see you soon.
That's right. No problem, brother. I'll see you soon.
All right, bye.
D.M. Stevens, professional wrestling referee. Chime in on the chat. Let us know what you think. Call 609-910-0687. You can even call us.
You can.
And tell us what you think. The phone works. Every Thursday night from 7 to 9, we are Royal Ramble Radio. That's who we are. I am Tristan Law, and normally Brian sits over there, but, today, you're not Brian.
I'm not Brian.
Because you're Steve
not?
James. He's not. That's Steve.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's me. Like,
I thought that the beard,
No, do not compare my beard to his goatee.
It is different.
That's the number one feud in the history of the world is beards versus goatees.
What about soul patches?
What?
What are those?
Oh, okay.
Don't ask.
That's for hippies.
So I do want to say this though, to put him over with DM Stevens one more time, is that I was at the show hanging out with him on Saturday. The Project Pro Wrestling was in Nyack, New York. I've never ever seen a wrestler do this. He's cutting a promo on Instagram, letting you know where he's going to be.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
You see that it's starting to become more and more of a thing.
Yeah,
but I applaud him for doing that because honestly, it's How are people? That's your chance to sell tickets right before you're doing your thing.
Right.
Like if you go live on Instagram as you're heading to the building, sell until the moment the doors open. You should be trying to sell tickets.
Well, talk about selling tickets, all right? I want to talk about people that buy tickets. I want to go into a little bit of discussion about the fans.
All right.
Okay? So recently, Renee Young, she made a joke on Twitter. She made a joke about men's baseball caps, and some guy proceeds to tell her on Twitter, in not so many words.
Wasn't me.
It wasn't you.
You have a baseball
she proceeds to tell him that she's a shitty announcer.
Okay.
So when is it that fans are crossing the line from having a great time to being disrespectful?
It's unfortunate to say it this way, but when you lead a public life, unfortunately, you open yourself up to that. Yeah. I'm not saying that it's right. It's just an unfortunate byproduct of when you have so many people sharing this platform. If you want all positive feedback and you want no one to be a jerk, unfortunately, you have to get off the internet. You can't be in the public space. And again, I'm not condoning what these people are doing, and I don't agree with the things that they're saying, but they have the right to say them, right or wrong.
Right.
Just like you have the right to block that person. There are plenty of people who go over the line, far over the line, and these are people who, mind you, will not say that to you if they meet you. I've had plenty of people in my career in any industry talk a big game online, on the phone, on message boards, but the moment they stand in front of me, it's, hey, I love your work.
Right. They babyface you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I know you.
Yeah, I know who you are. They try to bury you on social media and then babyface you to your face. Oh, man,
for sure.
You know I was joking, right? Like, what do you mean by you were joking?
Yeah, that's not a joke.
You see, for me, I don't block people on Twitter. I don't. I want you to come talk crap to me at The Real Big Tris, because all I'm going to do to you is I'm just going to mute you, because I'm not going to let you know that your existence means anything to me.
Talking to the void.
That's it. So,
I've done that with people who I follow, who I don't want to lose their follow back, but I just can't stand the nonsense that's going on coming out of their mouth.
Right.
So I'll just mute them.
That's it.
Just mute them.
That's it.
Talking to the void.
So Steve is checking on the chat. He said it's out of bounds if the reply has nothing to do with the content. And I agree, because I think that guy was attacking her as a person.
Yes. Which I'm not saying that it's right to do it.
You're saying
but
it's
I'm
expected.
saying it's an unfortunate byproduct of living a public life. It's not right, but that's unfortunately what we get. And that's a societal thing. It's not just a fan. It's in any fandom. It happens.
So let me throw this question into the chat. I want to throw this question into the universe, and then maybe we can talk about it for a little bit.
Let's go, Ramblers.
The question I want to know to everybody in the chat: does Renee Young, the announcer on Monday Night Raw, does she suck? Is she a terrible announcer?
Are you asking that question just to them or to us
I'm asking
as well?
that to them, and now I'm throwing it in the atmosphere in here.
Dave, you want to take this one first?
I would love to hear what Dave says.
I think saying awful is a little bit harsh, like I think
Okay, let me start again.
Yeah.
Is she a shitty announcer, like that guy said?
I think that's a little harsh.
Okay. She's no Mike Adamle.
No.
Okay.
Okay, everyone getting on Mike Adamle, though. Come on, the man had consistent brain tumors and seizures that were affecting his mind.
She's better than Mark Madden.
Well, you just do not like Mark.
I think I'm fair for that.
Madden,
but I don't know. I think there's room for improvement. But me and Steve have talked about this on, Dave Knows Wrestling over on YouTube. Steve was on an episode about commentary.
Yeah.
Her position as the third person is hard to fill that gap.
Right.
It's not a conducive position. I don't think it makes sense that it's the position that you end up starting off in. It makes sense that you want to try to lead people in with that, but I think it's actually worse because you don't get enough time to go in there with it.
Because there's not enough time, period. The problem is that there is a third person, and more often than not, the third person, instead of adding something, is just, this is my turn to get my shit in.
Right.
For Renee Young, I think she hasn't found her voice yet.
Right.
And for me, when you have someone like Corey Graves on the other side, you have to get up in his face too.
Right.
She needs to be a bit more aggressive for me.
Absolutely.
I think she's doing a fantastic job in terms of where she's going, where she started. When she's in a 2-man group, it's great.
Right.
In a 3-man group, she needs to assert herself more.
Right. And I would not tell Corey Graves to not change what he's doing.
No, absolutely not.
Because Corey Graves is doing his thing.
Right.
But I just feel, I agree with what you're saying, Steve. I feel that Renee Young babyfaces him a little bit too much.
For sure. She lets him get away with a lot. Just because you're a babyface doesn't mean you need to be a punching bag, especially since Renee Young is not good at being a punching bag.
Right.
You know who's good at being a punching bag? Byron Saxton is great at being a punching bag. That's
Shut
why
up, Saxton,
he deserves to be there. That is one of the toughest jobs to possibly be in a comedy aspect as well, to be the straight man.
Yes.
Right.
Now, I agree with everything you're saying, but I think also another hardship problem is Michael Cole. Because Michael Cole has grown up in a 2-person system or developed in that 2-person system.
Right.
There's some commentators now, whether you like it or not, have been, training in 3-man teams or 3-person teams.
Right.
Michael Cole is not of that era.
Not that
he
guy.
has called more WrestleManias than anybody.
Anybody. Let that sink in.
Yeah, let that sink in for a second.
Anybody.
Right. So realize he's old school now. Yeah, Michael Cole, the young guy from the Attitude Era, is now old school.
Right.
And in
Former
old school
war
mentality,
correspondent.
Yes.
You can't turn him. You can't tell him to. It's hard to tell him to turn it off and say adapt your time frame for a third person. Cut your normal shtick down.
Well, here's the thing. In his position and in the
That too,
position
yes.
that I am in
That
for
too.
Capital Wrestling, I am, for lack of a better term, God. The play-by-play guy keeps everything going.
Right.
When the pinfall is coming, I don't care if you're the color. Shut up.
Right.
I'm counting.
Right. You got to tell the story.
I have to tell that part of the story.
Right.
So in Michael Cole's position, he's a hall monitor
that
between the two of them.
Right. Right.
If he's talking, no one else should be talking. Whoever the play-by-play guy is,
Shut up and let him get his shit in.
it's I am translating physical language into verbiage.
And-
I can't do that while you're speaking.
But the thing too, though, is like unlike you, I'm not sure what you have at Capitol, but they said that Steve said that she's not comfortable or fully confident yet. How do you get confident or comfortable with Vince McMahon in the other ear and Steve Dunn in the other ear? That's Vince McMahon, the CEO of WWE, and the producer of the live programming.
And that's my exact point. When you have a 2-person team, it's a little easier to get confidence because you get more opportunities to speak.
Right.
Leading people in the third position, I understand that it's like a nice way to introduce people, but it's
Right.
really not because you never give them the time to develop their own confidence.
Because in their ear, they're getting told by Vince McMahon, "Oh, I want you to put this over, and don't do this, don't do that." And then in your other ear, you got somebody saying, "Hey, we're getting ready to go to commercial in a little bit." When they're watching that WWE, when they're commentating that WWE event, they're not watching at the ring. They're watching a little monitor, so they're seeing what we see at home.
For sure, that's how you have to do it.
Right, and they're trying to tell the stories of what we see. While you're trying to do it, you're like, okay, cool, you're trying to do this. Now somebody telling you, hey, we're 30 seconds away from commercial. So now you got to get ready to wrap it up to
throw.
get ready to go into commercial, right?
And another hardship I think that was given on to Renee Young, which is not necessarily, well, is definitely not a problem now, is that she had to command something that most people don't, and that's she had her husband in real life there, and she had to tell this weird line about pretending like she is, but not.
Yeah.
No
Well,
one. Most commentators are not asked to do that. So not only did she get introduced in that third man position, that third person's position, but she also had to maintain this weird line of blurring.
Kayfabe, not kayfabe.
Yeah, not
Right.
kayfabe, and you're asking her to do something that there's really not a lot of precedence for.
Right.
It's like you're asking her to do that on top of everything else. It's like she was given way too
Dave,
many hardships.
Take a drink of water. I think you're getting a little bit too excited right now.
I like Ren. I will admit she's not great, but I have to defend.
You know what?
They also did a disservice by not allowing these people. I know myself included. If I was to go, to WWE, God willing, I would want to start. I wouldn't want to go to Monday Night Raw.
Right.
I would
Yeah.
want to go. I would want to do NXT. I would
Get some
want to
reps.
do main event.
Get some reps.
Let them do stuff like that. If you're using it as a training ground to train wrestlers, NXT,
Right.
for your product, do the same thing for announcers.
And no offense to Jim Ross or Lita in this situation, but I really thought she should have been for the Mae Young Classic.
For sure.
I
agree,
thought
for
that's
sure.
where she should have started.
I agree. But I also want to say as well, I don't think Renee Young sucks. I think I can't tell Renee Young that she sucks because I'm not doing what she does.
She's not, for me, she's not great.
Right.
But she's also new to this
Right, because
particular
you
thing.
guys do the announcing. I don't.
And
I do the wrestling. It's like me trying to tell a surgeon, "Hey, look, bro, you might want to cut to the left, not the right."
Exactly.
The surgeon's going to look to me like I have 20 heads. I'm like, "Bro, where's your PhD?"
And that's why if you're on Twitter saying these things and you've never done it, I can only speak for myself.
Right.
I'm laughing at you.
Right. Like you're a moron.
You can say the worst possible stuff. I'm laughing at you. That's why you're on that side of the gate.
That's correct.
And I'm on this side.
That's
of the
why
gate.
you pay to come see me.
Exactly.
And I get paid by you.
I will say I also thought she was a class act for, kind of admitting that she has her shortcomings when it comes to commentary.
For sure,
I thought
you
that was,
have to. You have to.
I thought she handled it very well.
You
is what
have
I'm
to,
trying to say.
because if you don't, for commentary, at least in my opinion, the biggest thing that you cannot lose is integrity.
That's correct.
Once people don't believe that you believe in what you're doing, you're done.
But you know what,
You're
though?
done.
And Steve made a good point. He said in the chat, he said a glitch will attack and multiply an insecurity. He thinks that Renee thinks that she is worse than she is, which is why she had to respond. And she did. She made herself a little bit vulnerable. Like for me, no sell the guy right away. I'm not going to sell you number one.
Different people handle it different ways.
And see, I actually like the way she handled it. I get that, and we all have our different ways of handling trolls. Like what I do on my YouTube channel is very different, from what other people do. But
Right.
I actually really applaud her for taking that.
I agree, because you know what? If you put it out into the atmosphere, then what are they going to tell you?
Yeah.
Like if you say, "Oh, well, I think you're stupid." Well, you know what? I am stupid. I didn't graduate college, and I only finished the first grade. That's not me. I'm just saying that.
I'm working on it. There's a certain thing to be said about the vulnerability that she's showing.
Yes.
By being self-aware enough and sharing that with the audience, because I'm sorry, people, she doesn't owe you that.
Right.
She doesn't owe
No,
you
she
anything.
doesn't. No, she doesn't. But I appreciate what she did.
For
is what I'm
sure.
trying
And
to
it
say.
makes her more likable to those who get it.
But you know what? And Steve is making a good point in the chat.
Thank you. Oh.
Sorry.
Not
in
you.
the chat.
Not me.
In the chat. Steve is saying that she has a lot going on. Her husband is bashing the company that gave her the opportunity.
Yeah.
Maybe her bosses
That
are
too.
thinking, well, where do you lie? When your contract is up, where are you trying to go?
That could be a portion of it, but I would like to think that
Business is business?
business is business, and she's good for business.
And I do feel that I hope that at least that they're being supportive of her, and I think they are. I don't think the Dean situation is really affecting her. Like
she wouldn't be on TV.
True.
Right. But the other question I have, going back to the 3-person team that I think is weird, is that third person doesn't have a name. We know what a play-by-play is. We know what a color commentator is. But that other position is what?
There's no real role.
Yeah, there's a name for that. I'm going to give you the name right now.
What?
The saddlebag.
Saddlebag.
What I was going to say,
No.
and I'm not trying to tell anybody how to do their job, but what I would like is in like other sports, when they have a third position, they have an analyst in there.
Right.
They have someone to do stats, or they have someone to do, more of the statistical information and provide that.
Right.
I wouldn't mind it if that's what the third person did.
Right.
Because now you have a specific assigned role, and I also think that would be great. I'm not talking about Renee Young specifically.
It would
in
just be
general.
nice to know,
Right.
using the metrics.
Because you know what your job is on commentary. You're not just there trying to pick your spot and just shove a word in whenever you
Right.
can. It's like, oh, I'm the color commentator, this is what I do. Or like in your case, I'm the play-by-play commentator, this is what I do.
And then you pitch to, okay,
Right.
well, let's get some stats on this, and so on and so
But
forth.
When you have no official title, no official assigned role, as the third person, what are you doing? What do you have there to do?
Well, I'm going to give you a stat right now.
All right.
A stat I want to give you right now is that on Monday Night Raw, there was no Shane McMahon on Raw or SmackDown this week.
Oh.
And speaking of Shane, he's going against Kevin Owens at SummerSlam, and if he loses, he must quit WWE. I got 5 things I want to tell you, guys, that Kevin Owens can do if he leaves the WWE, but that's just a tease. I'm going to give you guys that a little bit later.
After the break?
No. I'm going to give you that after when we get into SmackDown, because right now I want to get into Raw a little bit.
You want to get into
Raw. You had something for that?
I did.
Raw.
Fucking Raw.
Yes, we want to get Raw.
I was told by Brian if I didn't do that, he would burn the soles of my feet. Like it's Da Nang in 1964.
Well,
So-
I can smell Tristan's feet burning.
You cannot smell my feet. My
I will
feet
say
don't
this,
stink
I
this
do
week.
not smell his feet.
Thank you.
You're
don't.
not right.
That's
here,
true.
Right.
That's
You
true.
don't smell my feet.
yeah.
hey-
You don't smell. That's the problem.
Hey, Olga. So 24/7, The mixed tag match. What you guys thought about that? The one that opened up Monday Night Raw, the mosh pit. That wasn't really a mosh pit. Maybe it was like a lumberjack match.
Sort of, but not really. It's the same thing.
It was all right.
It was okay. I like the fact that they opened with it.
Yes.
So it kind of like it basically opened directly in the ring.
Right.
No hubbub, no gaga until the match got started.
Gaga,
right in the ring. There we go. So I was okay with that. A lot of my problems with Raw and with wrestling in general is it's the same format to start.
Right.
Hey,
Oh,
starts, someone comes out and talks to set up the rest of the show. Go to break, come back, match, or that first thing leads into the next.
Concurred.
Exactly. I used the example, it's from 97, an opening with Savio Vega. The show starts, and Savio Vega is running to grab a cameraman. He's frantic. He's running down the ramp. He's like, come on, we gotta go. And someone was attacked backstage. Like something like that. While the 24/7 thing to open Raw wasn't that frenetic.
It was different.
It was different. It broke up the monotony, so I liked it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I hated the formula that the opening of the show, it was either the champion, whoever it was,
Right. Or 20 minutes worth of promo.
or a McMahon, or an authority figure, or Roman Reigns. It was always one of those combinations for probably 10 years opening the show.
It was to let you know what was coming next.
But what we did get next was the backstage segment after that match. Mike Kanellis actually became the 24 champion. He after the match they put the back into effect. They jumped onto R-Truth. It was more like a dog pile.
And he happened to get there first.
That's correct, and he became the 24/7 champion. So after that, you had a little segment going on.
It was cartoony, the dog pile and then just sneaking away. It was like a living cartoon.
Here's my thing: the 24/7 title is a comedy title.
Yes.
If you
I
don't
think
get
we all
that
know
by
that.
now,
That's correct.
I'm sorry. I don't know
Yes.
what to do for you.
Even though-
Everyone who was expecting this, it's going to be a hardcore title.
Right.
They're going to do this. No,
If
it's
it
just
was, they would have called it the hardcore title.
it's just an opportunity for guys who aren't normally seen on TV
Right.
to have some time.
And even though the belts are already gimmick, that belt's a gimmick belt. And speaking of gimmick, after the match, you had Mike Kanellis hiding in a room. The backstage segment with Maria, she was banging on the door as Mike hides behind the door. And I think it was funny because she banged on the door. You guys remember what she yelled? If you guys remember what she yelled, throw it in the chat.
I remember what she yelled.
You remember what she yelled?
She
She said,
I will open this door right now or
or
I
will kick you in your vagina. Yeah, so I didn't know men had vaginas, so I don't
I think she's implying that he was not a man.
But because I'm starting to think that maybe he's not the father. He can't be the father because you can't have vagina and make a baby. That doesn't work.
Well, I think yes. She's just emasculating. That's
Poor guy.
that's the point of it. Is
Poor
she's
guy.
the breadwinner. She's emasculating him.
She's the reason why he's in the company. Oh, wait, that's true.
She is the bigger star. If you're comparing the
Yes.
two, say what you want. A lot of people will say that she is the draw. She was the draw of the kingdom. You know what I mean? Like she gave that value. So I actually like what they're doing with this.
I do too. I have no problem with the storyline, and I know a lot of people hate it.
I love it. You know why? Maria's a savage.
And not only that, it gets Mike on TV
Yes.
more.
Yes.
So he will be able to prove his value in the ring on Monday Night Raw because she's going to put him in uncomfortable positions where he has to earn her respect throughout this whole thing.
And he did put her in one where she did put him in one where she told him to lie down and I'm going to get on top of you.
Hey.
No, that's where I thought it was going.
That's right.
And she was going to pin him and take the belt. And that happened.
And he did.
Yes.
It's a better version of Meat from
Yeah.
the
Pretty Mean
PMS.
Sisters.
Yes,
Yeah.
Pretty Mean
Pretty Mean
Sisters.
Sisters.
Yep.
Yeah.
Another thing that I think kind of gets overlooked is when they first started this thing a couple of weeks ago that I think doesn't get enough credit is how hard they sold this kind of swerve. They, Mike comes in and they had him looking gigantic against Seth Rollins, bouncing the titties up and down and everything like that.
Whoa. We don't say that. We say breastises.
Pectoral muscles.
Breasticles?
Okay, yes. Breasticles.
Bouncing his pectoral muscles and looking
chesticles.
mean with the
Yes.
shaved head and everything like
Titties.
that,
Oh.
just to take him and do everything that they did with him. Like I thought it was a great setup that they did for it.
Yes.
Initially,
Yeah.
I thought they really
It makes the breaking
Yeah.
him down
Right.
and
so
emasculating
much
him.
better.
It makes Maria look stronger.
That's
and-
correct.
Yeah, it
And
makes the whole thing better.
So I absolutely love how they're handling this situation.
I like Maria's makeup. She looks evil.
She's a beautiful woman.
Yes.
Beautiful woman.
But she's evil.
She is evil.
And something else I really like.
I think I worked the show with Maria once.
Oh.
I've met her in person myself.
Did you?
Yeah.
You didn't try to do what you tried to do with Alexa Bliss, right?
I've never met Alexa Bliss.
Moving on.
There's a reason why.
Yeah, right. You creep.
It's called a restraining order.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, I do tend to like the mean female characters. I mean, Lana, Maurice. I think they have a great place in wrestling. I feel there should always be one. Like an Anderson. There should always be an Anderson in wrestling. There should always be like a mean female, like valet type of character
right.
or manager type character. Because I think there's certain things that they can do better than anyone else. In terms of getting heat, in terms of getting people over. They're very necessary.
She can be this generation's Sherry.
That's exactly where I was going.
Okay, I can see that.
But I always need to have
Maybe she could sing Dolph Ziggler's song.
No.
No?
No.
You don't think she could sing?
No.
Karaoke
He's
or
already
anything?
taken enough from HBK.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So I want to go into some disconnects I have with Monday Night Raw.
All right.
And like this, sometimes I watch it and I'm like, wait a minute, how does this make sense? So what I want to talk about the disconnect is the segment where Fit Finley is training the ladies in the ring. So
Okay.
for those of you guys that don't know, like, prior to the show, guys normally could come out there and work out and get some, ring time that's not in front of a, in front of an audience.
They
and
work out their match. They go over stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So Becky jumps in the ring and attacks Fit Finley and then assaults Natalya. The disconnect for me is the other girls has jumped out the ring and left Natalya and Fit to fend by themselves. Why didn't any of them intervene in the altercation?
I don't know why. And I'm not necessarily sure why she went after Finley, seeing as everyone knows that he is a huge proponent of her career, her success, the women's division as a whole. He's been kind of the linchpin as far as, the most recognizable legend involved in hands-on helping them.
Recently, yeah.
In recent memories, the recent push. Yeah. Besides Dusty.
That's because I was going to say, I got to give the shout out.
Well, Dusty's not working with them in a physical capacity.
I
And Brian Kendrick is another one who doesn't get enough credit.
Right.
But we already know that, so it kind of took me out of that. There was no reason for her. Is she a heel? Is she a baby face? They're trying to
But you know what the thing
toe the line here
doing
with the
this whole
Canada
storyline.
thing. It's very strange.
What I think they're trying to do with that whole thing is like Canadian Stampede 97, where the Hart Foundation were heels in the United States.
For sure.
And the second they crossed that border, they were top baby faces. Check it out on the WWE Network.
But beating up Fit Finley in
Yeah,
America doesn't do anything for that.
You know what's the thing, though?
That's the problem.
You know what's the thing, though? They didn't really explain to us who Fit Finley was.
For sure.
We have a lot of new wrestling fans out there. So
They
if
just
somebody,
assumed we knew.
right? If you're
Institutional
like,
knowledge.
let's say
Finley's not at that level.
most of these people watching wrestling, don't know who Fit Finley is. They don't know his lineage.
But if you are a fan of women's wrestling who has been involved in pushing for this women's revolution and evolution, you know who Fit Finley is.
That's true.
Yeah.
Generally, I would say. I don't think that they did a good enough job saying why he was attacked and why he's involved in there. But I think for the hardcore fans of women's wrestling who have been involved in the evolution and the revolution, they know Fit Finley. He's the only guy that could have worked with.
But I think the story as a whole has been kind of botched and it's not clear.
For sure.
And they're kind of making certain liberties. And unfortunately for me, I got to say the promo that Natalya cut was real.
It was. She's never been known as someone who could deliver a stellar promo, but that one was pretty rough.
All I hope is that Vince doesn't use this as an article, or Stephanie doesn't use this as an article to prove why you need to be scripted. Like, that's my biggest fear, that they're going to say, see, we told you, scripted promo, it has to be...
No, I think that it's going to take time for people to get used to being able to do their own promos again.
Yeah, I agree.
And you have to allow for that. I think that people are so used to having words put in their mouth that they have no idea how to be themselves when they're the character. There are guys who can do that.
Oh, you want me to talk now?
Yeah.
You want me to be me, and who I think this character is like I was just going to say, Suffer and Succotash and $9.99.
Right.
There's going to be an adjustment period for everybody across the board, including the audience. They have to get used to the fact that certain buzzwords aren't being said because we've been trained to expect certain things.
Right.
And you can't, for anybody saying, oh, Heyman's going to come in and immediately the show's going to be different. There's a million things that they could do to shock us and make the show completely different.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't mean they should. You have to train your audience slowly. implement these things slowly. So,
So
Natalia's going to need some time.
So let me give you this. They try to train us and implement things slowly. That leads me to my second
there
disconnect.
you go. It's like I knew.
What foot injury requires elevation but no ice? I don't know.
A stub toe?
Anybody out there, doctor? Any kind of foot injury that requires somebody to stop an athletic competition, and they elevate your foot on a chair outside of ringside
With no ice.
with no ice. What?
No.
Apparently driving, because that's exactly what you do.
Yeah.
Your foot on the air conditioner.
Golly, I love it.
But that's sort of ice.
Oh, well, yeah.
There's cooling element to it.
So-
a stub toe, hangnail, I don't know.
If Alexa Bliss is hurt, they could have at least given her ice. They didn't have to give her an ice pack. Give her like a gimmick, so we think that it's an ice pack.
I think that's the point.
Right.
I think it's the
obviously fake.
subtle nod. Hey, she's faking it.
Right.
They want you to know that.
I kinda-
by
I
excluding
thought the
the
same thing.
excluding the ice, it's a subconscious nod to she's full of shit.
But maybe they think, maybe, and I'm not insinuating because I don't work for WWE.
Neither do I.
I work for Royal Ramble Radio that you can listen to every Thursday night, 7 to 9 p.m.
Which you're doing right now.
Yeah, right now. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Hit the like button. Hit the share. I want to know that you're here. Hit like. Hit share. Send it to somebody else. Let them see it.
Tell your grandma.
Yeah, please let her know she might like it. So my whole thing is that if they wanted, I think WWE is trying to say that their audience is not that intelligent. If they had to go that route, what they could have done is that when the referee turns her back, Alexa could have been all cool, and then when he turns his back, oh no, I'm hurt.
Oh, turn the cartoon
and then
up even more.
maybe what she could have been doing is sitting with the ice pack outside the ring and like not really icing her ankle.
I think they're slow playing it a little bit more than that. I don't like to think that they think that the fans are stupid. I think that in this case they're actually doing it the right way. You know, with something like that, it's like body language. It's little things that you can do to kind of clue in your fans, like, hey, this is a thing, but not.
Now, here's the thing for me. I like Alexa Bliss.
Yes,
Yeah,
we know.
we know that,
He's just
Dave.
going to stop right there.
Oh, but that was it.
That was it. That's all
Okay,
he's going
cool.
to say.
All right, so
She has a restraining order.
in SmackDown,
Can't restrain true love, baby.
we got Trish Stratus out there.
Yeah, well, which everyone saw coming from a mile
Of
away.
course.
And for those people who are like, Trish can't lose, she has to. There's no reason
No.
for Trish Stratus to win this match.
None. And look,
Zero.
none.
At all.
And
At all.
no reason.
I'm sorry. And look, I don't want to come across too mean with this, but I have to say I think today's, as a whole, overall, the women in WWE, the female wrestlers right now, are leaps and bounds better than that generation. I think they are. Like,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
They're more athletic.
If you're talking about as a whole,
As a whole.
yes,
I
I
cannot
would
stress
be.
that enough.
I would be inclined to agree to a point. If
Yeah,
if we're not including TNA, if we're not including Impact,
No,
Gail
WWE
Kim, guys
only,
like that, or
WWE
girls like that. Sorry.
Yeah, WWE only, and in terms of the whole thing, not just athleticism, but the amount of training they receive, how they receive it.
They definitely have a bigger spotlight.
How they're promoted, all that. It's so
Different, yeah.
drastically different that it's not like with the men, which unfortunately it's different because with the men, people from 20 years ago or whatever, you can consider them legendary for what they've done. Women weren't given the same amount of respect back then, so therefore putting someone from that era, even Trish, against someone of this era, you're not doing them any favors whatsoever by having having her Trish beat Charlotte.
So you think that the rub isn't the same? Is that
No,
what
I
you're
don't
trying
think
to
it's
say?
I don't think it's the same at all.
I disagree with that, and I
Okay.
think only there's no reason for Charlotte to lose this match. There's no reason
That's correct.
to keep her. I think
Oh
that.
no, I agree that there is no reason for Charlotte to lose the match, but there's no.
Do you think there's no reason to have the match?
Yes, that's where I'm going.
I
with this.
disagree only because the women's division right now is so clouded,
Yeah.
where they haven't really done enough to develop I'm just glad that there's going to be a women's match on SummerSlam that isn't for the
a
title.
No,
True,
and that's
right.
fine.
There's a story there. Let's start there.
Sure,
And it's,
but
not, and it's not. I'm sorry, Dave.
No, no,
it's,
yeah, no.
it's not to sell tickets because SummerSlam is a legit sellout.
It's already
A
sold.
legit sellout, so it's
Yeah.
not to sell tickets.
Yeah.
well, it's not for, and that would have been Trish's main value as a Canadian. A lot of people forget she's Canadian.
From Toronto.
From Toronto.
Right. Yeah. So like that. So it's not to sell tickets, but for me, this is a slot that could have been taken up by Charlotte and Asuka. There's already a built-in rivalry there. They work well together. I'm just giving an example.
It's a terrible example.
Fine, but my point is, this is two women currently that you could have put together in a non-title match, and I want the same exact thing that you do. I want more title female matches that aren't for the title.
Yes.
But having that slot filled by Trish on SummerSlam,
It
is
in this regard. You're taking the best of that generation versus the best of this generation. It is from just in a vacuum, from the women's perspective.
Right.
It is a marquee match. It is Rock Hogan. From the women's perspective.
But as both of you guys already mentioned, it's not to sell tickets. The more key value of it is immaterial at this point.
It's not to sell tickets, but it's to establish a importance for this division. The women's division right now is establishing their legacy. Yeah. They're creating benchmarks. They're creating their Hogan Andre moments. They're creating moments more than anything else. I'm so glad now it's not we're past the first times ever now.
Right, you're right.
Yes.
This is the intriguing part for me. This is the part that I want to see. This is the part that I love. I'm super excited for this match.
And I don't think it's necessarily going to be bad, but it's SummerSlam, and SummerSlam still has a value of itself to me. What I would rather have seen is I would have loved to see this match on Evolution, or have a second Evolution. Forget that. But
I think it's wasted on a women's only pay-per-view.
I don't. I would have loved it because I remember Bayley asking Ivory to wrestle. I would have loved that match. Bayley and Ivory. I mean, my ideal match.
It would be a great match, but there's no.
If I have to do two different generations, Bayley and Molly Holly, that's the one I need to see.
So I'll give you this, Steve.
Yeah, what do the Ramblers have to say?
Steve is doing really good in the chat, and guys, don't let him be the only person that participates in the chat. You can participate on YouTube, you can participate on Twitch, or you can participate here on Facebook Live. Steve said that I think they could have Trish win by DQ. Charlotte's focus should be on ending Trish's returns, and then Sasha could avenge the assault. That'd be a good way to get Sasha back in the mix.
I don't think that Sasha's needed here. I think that you do it the next night on Raw or SmackDown. You have
because it's still in Toronto.
You have Charlotte come out. She's talking all that. Talk your shit, girl. Talking all of that, and then Sasha comes out.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. It's Trish's hometown, so of course she's going to lose.
But
I hope so.
Let me say this. Here's a note I took on Charlotte Flair. I put Charlotte Flair is a star from top to bottom, left to right. The presence she commands as she steps out the curtain, and the way she talked to the microphone to Trish was natural and comfortable.
Yes.
Yeah, she's made for that moment. Where a lot of people, like if you put Bayley in that spot,
I don't think she would have flourished.
She wouldn't have. I
Nothing
don't
against
think,
Bayley.
And I'm a Bayley fan myself. Yeah.
I don't think so. Now, you never know when people rise to the occasion, but
True.
as we've seen, at least in my opinion, she hasn't risen to that occasion when put in those positions.
I'm just saying, I don't think this does anything for Charlotte's career. Good or bad, I just think this is a push. I think this is a push.
No.
Charlotte, I don't think her stardom is built any better from winning.
It's another feather in the cap, and it's another moment. They're thinking about 20 years from now, when they have the signature of they have Andre and Hogan. They flash for 30 seconds.
Fine.
Then they're flashing Trish and Charlotte.
Goosebumps.
Fine. I'll put it this way: 10 years ago, this is a perfect example, and these are three wrestlers that I think very positive of. But 10 years ago, let's go to WrestleMania 25. Did Chris Jericho gain anything by beating, Superfly Jimmy Snuka and Ricky Steamboat?
But those are not.
Hear what I'm saying.
But
that's what I think this is the equivalent of.
It's not, because Jimmy Snuka and Steamboat were never the guy. Trish, for women, was the bitch.
Yes.
She was the one.
Right.
She was the woman.
That's right.
During
Lita
her time.
you can make an argument.
No, I think China.
Really.
I think China came too early.
Yeah, she would have.
She came too early. I think
Lita, not for nothing. Lita. I mean,
but there wouldn't have been a Trish without Lita. They were.
While Lita might have been a better in-ring competitor, Trish was a better overall character, a better overall pro wrestler. If you're comparing apples to oranges.
I think it's debatable, but I see your point, though.
And I think Trish has more value to be sold than Lita does.
Right. I agree.
We've seen Lita a lot more, too. whether it be, on Raw reunions
Commentary
or whatever,
or-
commentary, things like that. Trish is more of they're elevating her, which in turn, when Charlotte beats her, hopefully,
I just can't imagine she would possibly lose. But I'm just saying, I don't really think this is much of a rub for her.
Steve is saying, imagine the heat Charlotte would get in Toronto if she had Trish do the stretcher job. If Trish did the stretcher job, if Trish did the stretcher job, Charlotte would get one hell of a rub because they would hate her.
Oh yeah,
the next night.
I'll give you that.
Just have
and
her,
then you
that's
have
good,
Sasha
that's
come
good,
back
Steven.
for revenge.
she can do the Roman Reigns. Remember Roman Reigns after WrestleMania 33?
Yeah.
Let's have her stand on the entrance. They go and boo her. She turns around and leaves.
That's good. Okay, you know what? Good point.
It was good. It was good not seeing Bray or the Firefly Funhouse on Raw, but it was a pleasant surprise as the Firefly Funhouse was first run there on SmackDown because we're so used to getting the lack of a better term, the rerun on SmackDown.
Yeah,
and they never
it's a good.
and Raw never recapped SmackDown, almost never, but they did this week.
Yeah, they're trying to balance it out, I think.
Yeah.
And
Here comes Fox.
anyone who
I don't blame them.
anyone who doesn't think that Raw is improving and SmackDown is improving and the company as a whole is starting to find whatever this next era is or place the building blocks around, you're just not paying attention.
I'm just saying I like SmackDown being treated more equally.
For sure.
Right, I agree. Yes,
sure.
yes. It's not the B. It doesn't feel like the B show anymore.
It feels like destination television.
Right. It doesn't, I don't feel like, well, you know what? I can just read about it.
I'll just watch the
Yeah,
condensed
I don't
version.
want to think this is Blue Sunday Night Heat.
So the other note that I put was that on last episode that you can watch on RoyRambleRadio.com, on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live, I said that I wanted Finn Balor to win. So the note that I put was that the Demon, I put rescind the idea of the Demon at SummerSlam versus Bray. I want Bray over. Finn leaves and returns a month or two later as the Demon because I don't want the Demon to. The Demon is undefeated.
Yeah.
The Demon hasn't lost. So maybe Bray Wyatt faces Finn. I'm sorry, the Fiend faces Finn Balor, beats Finn Balor. Yeah. Finn Balor leaves and comes back as the Demon, and then it gives Bray enough time to build his star power.
I don't want to see.
Half of that.
I don't want to see the Fiend in the ring at all.
I don't want to see the Fiend in the ring.
I want to see the Fiend do everything else outside of the ring.
But Finn's going to have to get his comeuppance.
Yes,
that's
as
the casino word.
Bray pays the nice guy. Bray pays for the sins of the Fiend. So when he's taking that beating, the Fiend doesn't feel it.
Fair enough.
He gets his comeback his heat back as the Fiend backstage, doing all of these things.
So this is like a nightmarish version of like Daredevil, where
He's
Murdoch can't put you away in jail legally, so then Daredevil comes get you.
Exactly.
So
he's Freddy Krueger. Freddy can't touch you when you're awake, but once you're asleep, he's got that ass.
I'm about to say, he better not be touching people when they sleep. That's against the law. Roman Reigns, that segment came 2 minutes before the close of the show, and it was pretty obvious that was a pre-tape.
Yes.
That segment, total disconnect, and it lost me altogether.
I wish he didn't get up. I wish he didn't get up. It's like, stay down.
But you clearly see there's somebody laying underneath the light rigging, and next scene that you see him sitting next to it.
It's very, very strange.
For me, when I seen it, when I saw the thing falling, I started, suspending disbelief. Like, okay, he could have seen it and he could have ran. But the first thing I thought to mind was, who shot Mr. Burns?
Yeah.
That's what I wanted. But obviously, I don't care who shot Mr. Burns. You know why? Because Mr. Burns, there's nothing wrong with Roman Reigns. He walked away from it.
There was no jeopardy.
Down?
Right.
There was no jeopardy.
So does it matter who did it?
It depends on who did it.
Who's going to fight him on SummerSlam? That's about it.
I would like to see.
That's the biggest amount of intrigue it has. Is just I need to know who the match is.
If they were going to do this way, I would have liked to have seen them do it over weeks where he narrowly avoids. It's like something that's something falls. It's like, is that a coincidence?
Right.
Just avoid it. And as the weeks progress, they become closer and closer to getting him.
Right.
And then before his match with whoever, he's coming before he comes out to call out whoever's doing it. Then he gets hit with the big whammo.
Right.
You don't see him. Someone goes into the ring. I did it for The Rock.
But how did nobody see that mystery person standing behind the thing? You know why? Because it was B Rabbit.
Enzo and Cass. Same thing. What I wanted so badly, I thought this was a missed opportunity for me. I think they should have made it seem like Roman was going to come out at the end, just like he always does, ready to play that music, and then all of a sudden he gets hit with it on his way out, and then you just close the show. It's like, wait a minute.
All right, let me give you real quick, because I know that we're running short on time. I kind of got the go-home signal. I want to give you guys the top 5 things Kevin Owens can do if he loses to Shane McMahon at SummerSlam and he has to quit. All right? And these are things that he really could do.
Okay.
The number one thing is Kevin Owens can obviously go to AEW. If he has a no-compete clause, it should be up around that time. I would like to see Kevin Owens
around
at AEW.
All Out?
Yeah. No, around October 2nd. October.
Around their debut on TNT.
Yep. Kevin Owens could probably sneak into WWE events and just hang out in catering with other superstars who aren't being used, because we know security is lacking. As where was security where Brock Lesnar was kicking Seth Rollins' ass?
They didn't care.
Maybe they were in catering too?
They were afraid.
They were on this week's episode of Up, Up, Down, Down.
Kevin Owens could spend more time helping the Parent-Teacher Association at his son's school,
Very good.
paying it forward to the future.
There you go.
Kevin Owens could binge watch, because, we talked about WWE Network. He could binge watch all 8 seasons. That's 110 episodes of Total Divas on the WWE Network.
I would do that.
Is an option, yes.
Well, you don't like Total Divas?
Alexa Bliss is on it.
Is she? Oh, that's right. She was on there for one season.
yeah.
Season 6. Don't ask me how I know.
I watched that show. I actually enjoy it.
The number 5 thing I think that Kevin Owens could do, and this is really near and dear to my heart. He can go hang out with Virgil at autograph sessions. And they can do like a combo deal, like take a picture with the both of them, and maybe Virgil will start to get some burn.
If you get to hang out with Virgil, you do get to see the $1 million title, which is pretty cool.
I got one more thing that he can do.
What is it?
Every Thursday night, he can tune into Royal Ramble Radio right here.
There you go.
Every single week.
There you go.
Now that his time, he doesn't have to hit the road anymore. He has the opportunity to listen to Royal Ramble
You think
Radio.
Kevin Owens would ever listen to the show?
I think he would. And I think he does, and I think he loves it.
Hey, Kevin, if you're listening, be sure to hang out with us next week here on Royal Ramble Radio. Hey, I want to thank Steve. I want to thank you for hanging out today.
Absolutely. Anytime.
I want to thank you, Dave, for hanging out. It was a pleasure having you. Brian, we miss you, buddy. We're going to see you next week. And we are Royal Ramble Radio. Be sure to follow me, The Real Big Tris, on Twitter and Instagram. Steve?
At Grapple Talker on Twitter and Instagram as well.
Dave?
Dave Knows Wrestling over on YouTube, as well as Dave Knows Comics. Please subscribe and like the videos.
And be sure to like and hit the like button, subscribe. I still want to know that you're here. Hit the share button. Let your friends like Royal Ramble Radio. We are not your dirty secret, but you could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with us tonight, and we thank you and we appreciate you. We'll see you next week.